It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has. It's been a while.
You were one of the guys that we had started training with heavily when I was at Finney's, and one of the guys that closely made me think about was I such a little shit? You're such a little shit, but it was so endearing because there were so many things that you did that I was like, oh my God, I was the exact same person at his age. So all I have to say to all my other coaches and stuff is I'm so sorry, guys. Brother Eric, welcome to Easy Talk.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. This is cool.
Appreciate you making the trek down the street.
Yeah, right. 5 minutes, just finished training. Got right here.
I got to ask, man, we spent a lot of time training at Finney's together. Before we start the conversation about, your martial arts career and all these other things, how is everybody? How's Wayne? How's Chris? How's everybody?
Yeah. Wayne is coming back to the cage
Really?
in March. Chris was supposed to, but he is leaving for work, so he can't. But everyone's good. Some people have left.
Chris has to be done.
Listen, I think he can do one more.
I
think one more, and then I want to be
but
done.
it's the same thing I tell everybody. He's like, yes, he can.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he can't,
Right.
physically can't.
Right.
But for what purpose? To what reason? To what
Yeah.
end? What is one more? If he was going to fight for Bellator or the UFC or something, I'd be like, dude, by all means, crack that one out. You know what I mean? But it'll be just more of the same. So then it's that conversation of, well, what are we doing here? Are we just proving that we can do it? Of course.
Yeah, I think for him
He's training every day, so of course he can do it.
It's a competition thing, and I also think since we have so many new people at the gym that he coaches, I think he wants to go out there, show one more thing, because he's one of the nicest sparring partners to a lot of people, and especially these people we're trying to get them to get debuts in the next year. He's one of those guys who you can trust won't hit you real hard at first, and he's kind of took over your role when you left. He really filled in those shoes, and he's done a great job at it. So
God bless.
Yeah. It was a weird transition, obviously, when you left and everything.
Well, I didn't want to leave. It was fucking who's that guy?
It was a issue with you and Ryan.
Oh
Right?
yeah, because of
that was the
sparring.
stuff.
It's not that I wanted to leave, but one of the main reasons I stuck around even after I was done fighting was for you guys, 100%. I think I got to the point where I was only coming in for the spar days and
for
stuff
you,
to run sparring. You know what I mean? Get everybody prepared for their fights. But outside of that, I'm not showing up for jiu-jitsu anymore. I'm not showing up for kickboxing. I just don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not competing.
And we got it. We understood. There was no we were like, yeah, he's got to do what he's got to do.
But once the thing with Ryan happened, when they were like, okay, well, we can't do Wednesdays anymore, I was like, all right, guys, have fun. Why am I here?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I always thought I was going to be a coach, and I am. It's just not in the field of that. I thought I did think once I was done fighting, I would coach fighting. But I got to be honest with you, coaching the kids at high school is just so rewarding, and I don't think I'll ever coach fighters. I don't really think. I think I'll coach wrestling, or I won't coach at all, if that makes sense.
Wow. I guess you have a lot of guidance for them, and they're a lot younger than most of your fighters, I guess. Is that why?
If I were to pinpoint it, number one, fighting is it's a big part of me, and I love that I did it. But if I would have never wrestled, I would have never gone to the gym. I would have never, you know what I mean? Nothing else would have happened. It starts with wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
Never say never. Who knows what the future holds? But right now, and the only place I would coach wrestling is at my alma mater at Afton. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if it wasn't at Afton, I wouldn't coach. But the difference too with commerce and a business and coaching at a gym and everything like that is the responsibility is different. So right now I'm the assistant coach with other coaches, and because of my work schedule, if I can't make it, someone covers me. It's not like I have a schedule and a boss, and I just don't think I'll ever put myself in a position where someone's telling me that oh, hey, after work you got to come here to coach striking.
Yeah.
And be like, dude, suck my dick. You're out of your mind.
That's fair.
If I have time, I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But I do feel a sadness because I do enjoy the people. I love you. I love Wayne. I love Chris. I loved a lot of the guys that were there. Nico and Jose and Dalton and all them. You know what I mean? I know some people have branched out.
Yeah, people have left. But
Nico's special forces
and he's
assassin now.
And he's skinny now.
I know.
Right? That was, when I saw the picture of him, I was like, wow. And I got the photo and I showed it to some of the kids in kids class because now when I teach them, and a lot of them that knew Nico were like, no way. I'm like,
the same guy.
They're like, no way. I'm like, I know. He used to be that scary dude.
Well, I can say the same for you, dude. I remember when you first came to the gym, you were this little chubby kind of what did you weigh? Like 180, 190 when you first walked
200
in?
pounds probably.
200 pounds.
Yeah,
What do you walk around at now? Like 160,
I'm
170?
165, 164 probably.
You fight at 145.
Yeah, 145.
So you cut a little bit of weight.
Yeah, I cut 10 pounds of water, and I'll I'm gonna eventually probably drop to 35 after this one.
I think you should if you're.
Yeah.
Well, are you thinking about going pro?
No, not anytime soon. I kind of have. I don't know yet. I want to get a couple more kickboxing fights. My next one's for Shamrock's belt, and then branch off, maybe fight other belts for other promotions. And then I've been working MMA for the last year with Chris and doing a lot of like Jose Aldo anti-wrestling type of things. So no one's taking me down. I have the greatest takedown defense in the history.
I missed you. Jose Aldo anti-wrestling techniques.
I'm telling you.
And now you definitely have his frame.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to try some MMA and just try. Why?
Yeah.
It's fun. The small glove's a lot more fun.
God bless. Well, then why don't you just do like the karate combat where it's like it's still the stand-up exclusive. Not go to karate combat as if like you're a professional fighter, but there are now avenues where if you want like that small glove experience, it's there.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm actually surprised the local promotions haven't started creating some of those rule sets.
I agree. I think it would be.
You could easily have that at like a Shamrock event.
Stand-up MMA fight. Yeah.
Basically,
yeah. And it would do. A lot of people would enjoy it because a lot of people like the kickboxing action. If you put small gloves, people are getting put out.
I think that if there was ever a thing that could rival MMA, it's that.
Yeah.
I think it's karate combat style of fighting where you're essentially saying, okay, like MMA.
I just don't like the mat of karate combat. Like I don't like how
the oval
it's just
thing.
Weird. I think
it's a cool way to, because it does eliminate that like 90-degree angle of a rope or a cage where you can kind of like bounce off of or do a rope-a-dope. It's kind of this incline that prevents you from being able to kind of springboard off of that. It truly is a detriment defensively. And if you're talking about like viewing it, it's far better than a cage.
Yeah, it is definitely cool. That I agree. I think watching it live would.
So, and if you're like in an arena and you're all looking down, it's just like a better viewing experience for everyone instead of like a cage and a post and all these other things.
Yeah, that's true.
So you say that you have a couple of things that you still want to do as an amateur in the kickboxing realm and even possibly MMA, but if you don't mind me taking a step back, I remember when you first started training, one of the things that you were trying to kind of handle was you went and got your undergrad in, I believe, finance or business.
So it was originally supposed to be, it's business. I'm getting it this next semester is my final semester. I wanted finance. I had an advising issue. That was a whole mess. Like
you were misadvised?
Basically, advisors should be fired. All honesty. I don't think I've ever had an advisor that's been helpful. So I'll give you the rundown. So I switched my degree from marketing to finance, actually because you gave me shit for a marketing degree. But before that, I had a sports degree, so I made.
I want to give you even more shit for that.
You did.
Oh man, you really know sports.
But I didn't want to go to.
What is a sports degree? When you say sports,
well, it was a sports like business degree. So I don't even, or it was a
the business of
degree?
sports.
I don't know. It was like a business degree with the emphasis of sports management or something like that. And it was. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't have a plan to go to school, but it was free for me, and
Dude,
I didn't have a plan. Okay. So I was like, all right, I'll try out school. My first semester horrible. And then ever since then, I've done.
Why was it horrible? When you say horrible, like why was first semester so bad?
I just
didn't care.
I wasn't trying as hard as I could. I kind of showed up when I wanted to classes.
Sounds like college to me.
Yeah, but some teachers make required attendance, and
really?
Yeah, it's weird. A lot of actual professors now require that, which is interesting because other schools like Missouri State, they'll let you zoom in, so you don't have to show up.
Bitch, I'm paying you. You're not going to tell me I have to be there for
I had a professor that was like an ethics class, and it was so boring. I hate that school makes you take classes.
Yeah, ethics. You're never gonna use it.
But it was like it was so boring. And this guy was like, if you're on your phone, I will like take away points. And he one time was like, get off your phone.
Well, here's the problem though too, is that like now with everybody having ChatGPT on their phones and shit, like it's no longer this like, he's not paying attention to class. He's texting his buddy. No, he could be cheating on a test. He could be like looking shit up. Like it's a different time now. If I was a teacher, I would say this. I'm making everybody like no phones whatsoever. If I see your phone, you're out.
Yeah, that's
because especially like in quizzes or tests or anything like that. Like no way.
For sure, definitely. Then it was like forbidden. But like it was freshman year, so ChatGPT wasn't a thing, and it would be more like I'd pull it out just to check something, put it away, text someone back, put it away, and like he did it to everyone. But first semester was rough. Then I just was like, all right, look, I got to decide like. if I'm going to be in school and I'm getting it for free, I got to take this opportunity. I can't take this opportunity for granted.
When you say that you're getting it for free, like how are you getting it for free? Like you meaning like you got like an academic scholarship?
So
like, what do you mean? You were
luckily
smart
for
in
me,
high school?
No, I wasn't. I was not smart in high school. Actually, I think all my high school teachers, if they saw me getting a degree right now, would be shocked. I think when I graduated and I was making the walk down, my principal, my grade principal, and my what was the counselor were right there, and I looked at them both and said "underdog story" and showed my degree, and I walked away. And because I was not a good high school student.
You guys never thought I'd be here.
I was not a good high school student. It was more just, I mean, personal things, and also I didn't care to go to school, and so I was like, look, I have this opportunity, and I got to take it. Like I got to put 100%, and I started, and then I was going through. I had my marketing degree. I was talking to you, and you were like,
bad influence on you.
It was like, well, everyone I know with a marketing degree is broke or something like that, and I was like, all right, and then I went and did.
I don't know a single person with a marketing degree that makes like under 100,000 or makes over 100,000 a year.
Right. You did say that.
Still don't.
Right.
I still don't.
Yeah, and so I was.
And
like,
I'm sure there's gonna be one person that watches this. I'm a director of. Okay, cool. You're the exception, not the rule.
Right. You've been. Doing
I know like
how long have you been doing?
I know 800 people that like work in information systems, finance, in law, in accounting, that they all clear 6 figures.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know a single marketing person that does.
Right. And so then I switched to a business or a finance degree, and I got approved to take classes without a prereq, and so I did them. And then my final semester coming, I get enrolled, or this final year comes. Last semester, I'm getting enrolled to take some classes, and one of them was the department chair of finance's class, and she's like, "You can't take this class." I was like, "Why?"
Because you're Albanian?
I thought so. Chris told me to use that. He's like, "Is it because I'm Albanian?" You did tell. I was like, "No," but they were like,
Well, "It's the one time we get to play."
I was like, "Oh, the one time this is useful at Webster University." But they were like, "You have to take these prereqs," and I was like, "What?" Like, and then they were like, "You can't take this class."
Like a finance 2 or 300 class, you have to take the prerequisites.
Yeah, but they were wanting me to take like some. Like I had to take them last semester. One of them was a business communications class. It was a freshman year class. I had to take the freshman business test that they make you take when you first start. And I was like, "Are you serious?"
I don't even know what that means.
Well, it wasn't like a business.
What is
test.
Business?
I guess it was more like all these definitions. What is And,
what if I were to tell you the same way I don't think you need higher education for like the arts, like. If you tell me you got like a music degree, I'm like, why? Do you not know? Like, do you not like music? Do you not know how to read?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need a 4-year degree for music.
Right.
I don't think you need a 4-year degree for a lot of things. I don't think you need a 4-year degree for business.
You don't.
I really don't think so.
I don't either. I mean,
I don't even know. Like, I made fun of Tony because Tony was like, "I'm going to go for business administration," and all I said to him was like, "Oh, so you can administer business?"
Yeah.
Like when I say your major back to you,
for sure.
Suddenly you start realizing how retarded this is. Like it's like, oh, you're going to pay them tens of thousands of dollars to administer business when you're done. Like,
and
I could teach you in a week how to set up an LLC, how to do your financing, how to handle whatever it is industry you're in. There you go, business administration.
Yeah, and that's what my degree's in now. But they wanted me
business administration.
Yeah,
you're administering business. Oh no!
Sadly, not by choice. Not by choice. Well, by choice. They said he was either do that or do.
Oh no!
Do 4 part-time semesters.
You're going for finance,
dude. It changed. They made me switch to either. They said I could either do 4 part-time semesters because I had to take.
What's your girlfriend going for?
Physical therapy. So. That's not bad. What do you mean? What is this face?
Is she going for like a medical degree too?
A doctorate degree.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're a podcaster, brother.
Hey, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Times are hard. Please subscribe. I just no, I'm fucking with you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But yes,
your degree.
Yeah, I'm getting a degree, and I was debating if I should take the extra time, but I talked to a lot of people and. It was like business.
What did Chris say?
Chris said to me, he goes, honestly, dude, like, get the business degree and just tell everyone you did every class but one to get a finance degree. That's what he said. I don't
even think this is gonna sound really rough when I say this. I don't even know how deep the background process is. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if you can lie. Like, I think when they check if you got a degree or not, they'll ask like
for your transcript.
Yeah, I don't know if they ask for the. I don't know. I've never run a background check on anybody like that. So like, I don't know if you were to say like, okay, like let's say you said, you got your medical doctor degree or whatever.
Yeah.
But you got a degree in like, engineering, let's say. I think they could tell the difference between
right.
But like.
Yeah. And so.
They would actually like contact the school for your transcripts to know what you have a degree in.
There we go. Wow.
In Albania, you slip them a 10.
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah,
hey,
you can get anything in
finance.
Albania.
Fucking relax.
Yeah.
What are you, a Fed?
Yeah.
Don't be gay.
That's true. That's true. They are. Yeah.
I'm not saying that America's bad. I'm just saying once in a blue moon, Albania does it right.
Yeah, Albania does it right. My grandpa, last time we went, got pulled over and told him he only speak English. Those guys, they had to call the sheriff of the county to come talk to him in
He
English.
got pulled over in Albania and acted like you didn't know.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
I'm American.
tourist. I am tourist. No Albanian. I'm like, dude.
Why is your English fucked up?
Yeah, literally. What? I could not believe when he told me that. He goes, I got pulled over in the mountains. I'm like, dude.
When we were over there, we went to this restaurant, and like the second they realized we were like American tourists, they gave us like the gold glove treatment. And I remember we were like sitting on this like the edge of this mountain. It was gorgeous and everything, and the food was amazing and all this other stuff. And this restaurant is like packed with Albanians, right? Or like whoever's coming, Italians, you know, it's Europe. And then like I remember like we're getting like the tableside service and everything like that, and I'm just like thinking to myself like, what is going on? Like, why are we being treated so well? And I had my heart sank, okay, because I didn't realize. This is my first time in Albania, right? So like when we went over there, they gave me the bill, and it was in Albanian lek. So it was like,
yeah, it's like 1,000 lek is like $1.
Yes, right?
So,
yeah. So they give me the bill, and it's like $600,000. And when I tell you, you know, the whole night I'm fucking talking to Big Game. I'm like, whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
we told the waiter, I was like, listen, I don't want to order anything. Just give us appetizers and the main course and dessert. You know, like the menu. Right. You pick what's the best stuff. No budget. I told him, I was like, no budget. Don't worry about it. He's like, okay, wine and all this other stuff. I get the bill, $600,000, and I'm like,
this guy.
I was like,
yeah, I bet. You start working there.
A thin layer of sweat just enveloped my body. And I turned to my wife and I was like, did you bring your card? I was like, not covering this dinner. And she's like, baby, there's a conversion rate. Yeah. So like once we converted, it was like $600.
Yeah.
And I was like, just euphoria wave over me. And I was like, oh my God, I thought we were about to go bankrupt over this dinner.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank God for the US dollar. Let me tell you that.
True.
Also, sorry, side note, you said that she's going for physical therapy.
Yeah. But
like, where? Here in St. Louis?
So, you know, probably not. Though the thing about physical therapy here is school's expensive here compared to like places in Springfield. You can go and get 4 years straight and get your doctorate of physical therapy at like Missouri State. She could do like 2 years at UMSL and then go to Missouri State, so that's an option as well. But
why 2 years at UMSL, not like a community college? Do you have to go to UMSL for that?
Yeah, you have to. 'Cause she's at a community college right now. So
got you. She's getting her associates
2
now.
years right now and then she'll transfer.
Smart girl.
Yeah, right.
I tell everybody, unless you got like a full ride, just go to get an associate's degree, and then whenever you go to university, you're only paying for 2 years, not 4.
and so UMSL's not too expensive either, but they don't have a doctorate degree. The only place here I think is WashU or SLU.
Oh, really?
It's like it's not worth to spend that much money on something where you can.
I'll tell you what, UMSL did have a top 10 in the nation finance program.
Yeah,
Shout out Dr. Locke.
Yeah.
I think he's dead now. Rest in peace, Dr. Locke.
Rest in peace.
You were talking about she might not stay here.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you?
So, yeah, for me, I mean, it's in a weird spot, you know, like
You tell her peace out?
No, never. But
Ooh, that's far. I'll see you when I see you.
She we've talked about it. If she goes to Missouri State, I probably will follow, so I probably would leave St. Louis.
You stay in the dorm with her?
No, we'd get an apartment.
No shit.
Yeah, we'd get an apartment.
Oh my God, move in too?
Yeah.
How long y'all been dating now?
Almost 3.5 years.
Damn. You know, in Albania, if you tell them that you've been dating for 3.5 years, they don't, where's your second kid? Why haven't you been married?
My uncle just got married in April, and like afterwards, people were like, "So you're next." I'm like, "Whoa, hold down, slow down."
Your uncle got married?
My uncle got married. Yeah. So
he's like, you gotta be older than you.
Yeah, he's 30. He's 30, but he just like.
What about your older brother? Is he married?
No, my older brother's not
that
married.
motherfucker. Then
that's
like,
right.
There's a hierarchy to this.
He was not dating someone as long as I was, so they were like, "All right, like you're next." Like, and I was like, "Whoa,
pressure's on
slow
you.
down." Like, yeah, it's.
Have you thought about it?
No, I'm young, man. I got time.
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah.
It was one of the hardest questions I ever had to do.
Yeah, I bet. I feel like it's no matter what a hard question, and it's.
Well, you only want to do it once. You know
Right, for sure.
The other thing too was, I don't, women will give me a bunch of shit for this. I really don't care. Boy, is it tough picking out a ring. Like that was the first time in my life where I was like, God damn, there's a lot of pressure on this one. Like, first of all, how much jewelry have you bought in your life?
For myself,
at all, just in general.
I don't think I've bought myself a single thing of jewelry. I bought my girlfriend jewelry, but I've never.
I didn't even know rings came in sizes.
Yeah,
they're like, what size is your wife? And I I was like, medium. And they looked at me like,
medium.
No, for real though. And I was like,
oh god,
haha, joke's on you. Seeing if you were paying attention. And they're like, well, like, let's see your finger. And like, I think I'm like a size 7 or 8 or whatever. I was like, that's probably the same as my wife. She's like, they're like, no, it's not. Like, it's women's hands are smaller. I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, off like the beaten path that we were having a discussion about, like, you know, after I had proposed to her, we were talking about like how we were going to fund the wedding and all this other stuff, and like who was going to pay for what and how much we were going to chip in for all these other things. And like Bruno was like, you know, dude, our wedding was way more than I wanted to spend, right? But it was like 20,000 for this, 10,000 for that. Before we even know it, we're spending like 50, 60K on this wedding, and I pulled her back. I was like, I want you to know that like before I spend a single fucking dollar on this wedding, I'm already in the hole like 18K.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I was like, just so you know. And by the way, at the time, I wasn't making the money that I was making now. 18K was like, oh fucking. Wow. Dude, I broke out into a sweat after I bought the ring.
Yeah, I bet. Wow.
Because I was like, man, I hope she says yes. Like, this is going to be super fucking awkward. Will you marry me? Nah. Oh, well, can you please? I don't want this to go to waste. Anyway, how are the guys doing, like, in terms of, because I know that Wayne at the time was kind of coaching, kind of fighting. I know Chris was kind of coaching, kind of fighting. And I know that they're both going into the cage, but like, have they had the conversations about next?
Yeah, so I mean,
because you guys got like a lot of new guys now.
Yeah, we got a lot of new guys, and we have a lot of new guys who've been training for 2 years, 3 years now, sparring, and haven't fought because they haven't found a time that works for them. You know, we've been trying. We've had guys like, hey, you want to fight now? I don't think I can make that work. I'm leaving for this. So it's like, all right. But
that's kind of beautiful too, because a lot of guys are tied to competition.
Yeah,
so at least they're doing it for the love of martial art.
Right. And they all, I got to give them credit. They'll come in, like when I'm fighting, they'll all make sure they're there. And the best thing about all these guys when I'm there, especially when I'm training for a fight, is whoever I'm fighting, they all watch the guy and they're all trying to do the same stuff this guy does. Oh. So that's what's really nice about me there is, even though these guys haven't fought before, some of them have, some of them they're ready to make debuts. They're better than probably most 0-0 guys. But if we're fighting a guy who's tall and throws a bunch of kicks, every tall guy in that gym is on rounds with me, throwing kicks, throwing deeps, pushing me away and stuff like that. And it's Shark Tank, you know, fresh guy just trying to make it as awful as they can for me. And then, yeah, Wayne's done a great job of taking over coaching as well. So is Joe. Joe's done a lot too. I think they're...
What's Joe's last name?
Kataracha.
Oh, yeah.
Kara, something like that. But
shout out Joe.
Yeah, good guy. Great guy. But Joe's done a great job too.
Do we still have a lot of people from back in the day, like...
you know,
is Patrick still there?
Yeah, Patrick's there. He's there. Lucas is with him still. You know, Lucas will help us. Patrick will come with us and do rounds.
Lucas is still teaching jiu-jitsu over
Yeah,
there?
Lucas is doing jiu-jitsu, his MMA. He'll come in and he'll tell his guys to come. We have another guy who's fighting, Elijah. He's fighting next weekend. He wrestled in Linwood and stuff like that. He's a good guy.
Nice.
Yeah, he's an up-and-comer dude.
Does he take you down? No.
No, I actually took him down.
Oh.
Elijah knows it, too.
That doesn't sound like anti-wrestling to me.
Right, yeah. Be ready. I actually went up to him after. I was like, hey, man, how was my wrestling? Like, I didn't wrestle in high school. He's like, oh, bro, you did good. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
It's in the blood.
That's what I'm talking about. I went and told all my friends. I'm like, you guys say what you want. I took down a D3 wrestler.
Is he D3?
I think.
Is he wrestling in college?
He did at Lindenwood. Isn't Lindenwood D3?
I think Lindenwood's like NAIA, but I mean, I think it's pretty much D3.
Still,
right,
yeah. But
college wrestler.
Yeah, college wrestling. So, but
I know a bunch of Lindenwood wrestlers now that are going to get like, I'm sorry, Alejandro. I'm sorry, Julius. I love you guys. Please don't at me.
Yeah, but no, we got a good group of guys and a lot of people up and coming, but Chris is really always there Wednesdays. He's making sure he's every Wednesday he's there. He'll come in Monday, Wednesdays, sometimes Saturdays. Wayne's there every Saturday running sparring. He'll come in throughout the week too. Solid. He doesn't do as much coaching classes except like when we have guys who are fighting, Wayne's the guy taking that guy working one-on-one with them.
Nice.
So he'll do a lot of drills with them. He also actually breaks down fights really well. Like
Wayne and Chris both have very good minds for the sport.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're both intelligent fighters, which is hilarious because then when they decide to fight, they revert back to like Unga Bunga. Like both Chris and Wayne, if they have to corner you or like do tape or train you, oh my God, fantastic.
Right.
And then they come out to fight and it's like, overhand,
right.
hook,
Heat,
hook.
just
Dude,
heat,
everything
just
they
heat.
throw is power.
Yeah.
Everything's like, I'm going to knock you out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, boys, I know you know better.
Yeah, but no,
I miss the days. I do. I miss you guys.
Yeah, we talk about you, especially these newer people. Nothing bad. No, I tell them all the time, you guys just think I'm a hard round. You guys have it easy.
Well, you've probably gotten a lot better since I've been there, dude.
I have.
You probably are a hard round now, man.
No, I agree. I think I am, but it's more just like, dude, you would whoop my ass all the time.
Well, yeah, but you only trained like a year or two, dude.
Yeah, but like still, dude, I remember those beatings still.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like the other day we were talking to him, I was like there's this kid. His name's Flapjack. That's what we call him. His name's Jackson, but we call him.
I was gonna
Flapjack.
say, God bless.
Yeah, he's a character, but like I was like, I beat him up because he was talking trash to the gym. Some Jim Justice, you know. So I was like, this
Did
little
he mouth
shit.
off to you?
This little shit is gonna get it.
Little Eric got hit by me in a hook, and I'm sitting there worried about him. Like, oh man, you good? He turns to me and goes, "You hit like a bitch." And I'm like,
That's not true.
"What do you mean that's not true?"
No way I said that. Are you serious?
Yes. You're like, bro, you soft. That's what you said
No
to me.
way.
Yes.
No way.
You don't even remember half the shit you talked.
Dude, I do not remember that.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I told him, I was like, you're lucky. I had this guy, there was a guy, Arion, we did a round, he looked and went 5-piece, and hit me 5 times straight. And I was like, you know how insulting it was? Like, I'm getting my ass beat already by this professional fighter. And I'm just sitting there like, all right, okay, I didn't get hit. He goes, 5-piece, and bop, 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 bop. And Wayne starts laughing. I'm like, and I have to sit there and be like, wow, this dude could kill me right now if he wanted to. Like, I'm helpless.
Well, now that you have anti-wrestling, I don't think I can.
Yeah, true.
I never thought. I wish I would have learned that from the Bashy fight. That would have helped. Those were learning wrestling. I should have learned anti-wrestling. Who's the anti-wrestling coach?
Oh, no one. Just like position. like Chris is a great wrestler, so we'll just like work on things, and like he'll take me down, or like we'll be.
I thought you said you don't get taken down.
Well, I'll let him take me down. I'll follow the ground as he shoots. Except
lull him into a false sense of security.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'll work my way up, and we'll just do that multiple times.
If you ever want to come to the high school and wrestle with the kids,
dude, I'd love to.
I might pay you to do that.
I'd love to.
I got a couple of 106-pounders that would wreck you.
I probably believe it, but as soon as I put the gloves on, they're not.
That's a different story.
That's a different
story.
That's what you said when you were coaching wrestling there. You're like, hey, there's a room of guys over there that'll beat your ass. I go, bring them in here.
I was like, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, you're like, you just went, fair
I'm
enough.
the Jake Paul of wrestling. You come to my sport.
Yeah, fair enough.
What did you think of that last fight?
Of Jake Paul?
Yeah.
Fair play to him. You know, I don't think he did bad. I mean, you gotta keep in mind.
He went for 16 takedown attempts.
Yeah, right. It was clear it was on purpose. Like anyone who didn't think it was, like, it was definitely on purpose. I think every time they got close, he shot on purpose or just dropped so they'd have to
he would
separate.
throw an overhand into the shot.
Yeah.
To essentially negate any sort of counter.
Yeah. It looked like he was trying to survive. He knew he wasn't going to win. But
I disagree.
Really?
I don't think he was trying to survive. I think he was playing the game. I think he was trying to survive in the sense of like, get to the end of the fight without getting knocked out. I will agree with that. But like, he wasn't like dropping to a knee when he would get encroached on. He would throw his and then drop to a knee. I think he was trying to like and fair play, like he did hit AJ with
he caught
a lot of overhands.
I thought he
and
won the first 2 rounds, honestly. Or maybe not. Well, I can't say I think he won straight. I thought it was close though. The first 2 rounds were pretty close because neither of them really did much.
There wasn't a whole lot going on, but here's the thing: like there is like the problem with boxing is I said this with Craig, and I'll say this with you. The sport of boxing, because of the rule set, because of like, remember the round? I think it was like the 4th or 5th. Like the referee brings them together and is like, "Hey, man, no one paid to see this shit. Y'all got to fight."
Yeah.
That is so like astronomically incorrect for the referee to do. The referee is not there to like facilitate a fight or anything. The ref is there specifically to protect the fighters from themselves and to ensure that people abide by the rules. Right? That's it. So like, I was like watching that thinking like, what the fuck am I watching? And then I realized that like boxing no longer is a sport. It is all spectacle. Yeah. So in that sense, like, yes, you are growing the sport. Like more people have their eyes on boxing and stuff like that. But if you go to like any gym, if you go to like the amateur route and all these other things, you're not going to have that same experience. And the thing I'll say about boxing, about what that fight did for me for boxing was like just prove that it's a joke.
I was entertained.
It's entertainment. It's good entertainment. Yeah. I was also entertained. But I'm saying, like, I'm also entertained from MMA. But when I watch an MMA fight, I never think that was a joke.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That person shouldn't have been in there with them. And that's what I'm trying to say is, like, only in boxing could Jake Paul go 6 rounds with AJ. Because if you went to MMA, like, who's the equivalent AJ? Let's say, you're fighting a Khabib. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going 3 rounds with a Khabib out of 5. You're not.
No, not even.
Good luck, because the rules won't
1 or
allow
2.
you to.
Right.
You're gonna get taken down. You're gonna get smothered and he's gonna beat your ass in a minute in the first round.
Yeah.
So like that's why I was. That's when I say like boxing is a joke. That's what I mean by that. He went for 16 after the 4th one you should disqualify him.
Yeah, I agree. I was
You know what
surprised
I mean?
no
Okay,
points
you're
got
done.
taken away.
You're done. You
that.
cannot be in here with him.
Yeah.
You don't have the adequate skill set. Disqualified.
Yeah. And he gassed. That's what I think.
Well, of course he gassed. He's in there with fucking AJ.
Yeah, I could handle my own.
I think he kills you.
Yeah, he would kill me. Yeah. He would kill me fast. But
so you said you're gonna wait until you go pro. What's the threshold? Obviously, you're getting your degree here in the next semester.
Yeah.
Are you doing it for your girl? Are you? Because let me take a step back. One of the difficulties that I had in my amateur career, one of the reasons why I waited to go pro, even though people were telling me to go pro early on in my career, the reason why I went pro when I did was I wanted to get my degree first. Because I wanted to like solidify that part. Like I got my education, that's quote unquote done. Now I can pursue fighting to my heart's content because now I have a job that I can facilitate it. And spoiler warning, was the right choice. You know what I mean? But I'm curious to hear your...
Yeah. Pro-wise, I'm not wanting to go pro anytime soon. I've been training.
Do you want to go pro?
Yeah, I would like to go pro.
For what purpose?
I take everything one fight at a time, and I really love fighting because it pushes me to be a better person and pushes me to just challenge myself to something new. And I just want to see where I go with it. You know, like I don't have a... If I make it and I'm something great. If I don't, I don't care. Really care. You know, like I'm happy that I'm...
You care, but you don't care.
It's not like that is it, you know, like, oh, great, my life is over. Because I think I'll be involved with this sport for the rest of my life. Whether it's afterwards I start coaching or I start a gym or I make it far, you know. You
can administer business.
Yeah, exactly.
In your own business.
Exactly. There we go. But no, I don't know. I'm not ready to go pro, I don't think. I want more fights. I've had an unlucky amateur career with school and just injuries and stuff like that. Like, I was gone for a whole year, concussed, come back, got a fight, and then had to take some time off. And then I had my fight in November, got canceled because I got injured. So it's just been not like...
What happened in November?
So I was sparring, and it was like my 3rd round, actually. And I was sparring this guy named BJ, and he's... about 5'11".
Shout out BJ. Yeah. We all love him.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, great guy.
No, but he's a big dude. He's like 210, but he's like 5'11". He's southpaw. The guy I was fighting was a southpaw. And
Jesus, it's like a human box.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, BJ. No, I'm sure you're a swell guy.
He's swole. But I threw like a hook, and he threw a teep on my bicep. And it was like the weirdest freak accident you could ever. And this is the one round we didn't record. The one round Wayne didn't record. So every Saturday when we have someone in the cage, we record every round. We send it to them, and then Wayne watches them and stuff like that. Sees holes and stuff like that.
No shit. So he's studying your tape?
I believe so. Yeah, he studies his tape, does tape. He records all of them on his phone. So I imagine he's watching them and stuff, and he'll point out some things.
That's a lot of value, dude.
Yeah, dude. Wayne, like I said, I love the guy. You know,
he's also, dude. He's one of the best people I've ever met in my life. Mm-hmm. Truly.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. But
it just so happens he's also a fucking savage.
Yeah, literally. But so it was a weird I fell to the ground immediately, and I was like, "Holy fuck, my arm!" And I couldn't take my shirt off. Like,
did you rip your bicep? Did you tear your bicep?
So it was like a partial. I went to the emergency room because I went to urgent care, and they go, "We can't do anything."
It was that bad.
Urgent care said they couldn't do anything, so I couldn't straighten my arm out without feeling pain. So I went there, and they were like moving my arm for me, and like, "Can you do this?" Like, certain, you know, pull like this, and they're like, "Look, you probably have a minor tear." They go, "It's definitely not major, you don't need surgery," but they go, "You can't do anything for at least 2 to 3 weeks," and we're 3 weeks away from a fight.
So there goes the fight.
And I'm like, or we were 4 weeks out, but I was like, shit. And so I went and I texted Chris and Wayne. I was like, "Guys, this is what they said. Like, what are your thoughts?" And they were like, "Listen, man, like, you shouldn't take a fight. Like, you shouldn't fight because if you lose and it's because you couldn't train or whatnot for 3-4 weeks, mentally it's not going to be great for you, regardless of the result. If you're fully there."
Well, and not just that, they say it could be 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
What if it's 4 weeks?
Yeah,
what if you're on fight night and you still can't bend your arm?
Right, and it didn't start.
You're not even
better.
Past the physical.
Right, and I mean, for a whole 2 weeks, I was not able to take my shirt off by myself, like real easily. I couldn't straighten my arm. I was in a.
Good thing you got a girlfriend.
But I mean, I was in a lot of like I'm not a guy who complains about pain, dude. Like, I'm not trying to, I'm Tommy Tough Knuckles or whatnot, you know. But like, I was like, holy fuck. Like, I went to the ground, I was like, my arm. And Wayne's like, what the fuck? Like, what just happened? Because he was right there too. And we were all like, what the hell just happened? So that's
in their defense, I don't think in all the years that I've ever trained, I've ever seen somebody teep a hook.
It was like a weird, like.
He's probably going for your chest and just like off center.
freak accident. That's what we call it. Like, it would never have happened if you tried to make it happen again. You couldn't reenact it. But all I know is I was in fucking pain, so, I'm
sorry, dude.
Yeah, it was a bummer,
So what'd you have to do for recovery? Just wait it out?
Yeah, so first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I just was in a sling, and then I started using dumbbells, slowly just getting it, or it was a lift arm. But, I mean, it didn't start feeling close to as strong as this arm until probably like five weeks after, For after 3 weeks, I had my arm motion, but it still hurt to like extend my arm all the way. Like sleeping, I had to keep it
How long
elevated
until you started hitting the bag or hitting nuts?
It was probably about 4 or 5 weeks. So like that time is when I started, like, I just lightly hit the bag. There was never any like, all right. And so if I got canceled, and I was like, this sucks, because I was excited to fight and book something right away after. And then they were like, you want to do it January? And I was like, I can't, because my arm just started feeling close to better. I don't want to go 0 to 100 right away. Like, it's too much of a risk for me. Like, I don't feel comfortable going light for 2 weeks of training.
Also, you're an amateur. Like, you're not getting paid for
Yeah,
this.
right.
You're risking it for literally no biscuit.
That's actually because I messaged my opponent after when I was like, hey man, I'm pulling out, and man, dude, he just goes, hey man, it's all Amy's at the end of the day, but just so you know, I got kneed in the head and dropped last week, and my arms had hurt for 3 months, but I'm still down to bang. I'm like, fuck this guy.
Fuck you.
I was like, you're making me feel like a bitch, dude. I was like, all right, but no, he was really cool about it, and but that fell off. So we got it booked now in March, but not against. We don't know against who yet, but
How hard is it to train and go to school,
dude?
And work?
Yeah, exhausting. Definitely exhausting. Very stressful. That's also been a hard part about getting fights is. Fighting in between school, especially like this next semester, I'm in 21 credits. The semester before I was in 21.
7 classes?
Yeah, 7 classes.
Jesus.
Yeah, the semester before I was in 7 classes. And
what are you doing with your semesters? Why are you doing 7 now?
Well, I had a couple classes I withdrew like a couple years prior, so like it's possible for me to graduate if I did this and just accelerated a little bit more.
You're putting a lot on you, man. That's a
dude.
heavy semester.
It's so this is actually this year's.
It's because you wanted to be done with school.
Yeah, I want to be done. I want to be done. But normally I'm always busy like this. I've always had 2 jobs. I worked at the gym like the year before that for a whole year. I was working at a moving company while being in school for 15 credits or 16 credits
and training with us
and training full time. Yeah, so I've always just been a guy who's busy. It's just right now it's just school and then working at the gym a bit. And I'm trying to find another part-time.
When I did that, I was working full-time, training full-time, and going to school full-time. Yeah. And the way that I was able to handle that is by not having a life. Like I didn't have a social life. Yeah. But I never felt like that was a sacrifice. Like even now when I look back, like there were parties I didn't go to. There were like outings and stuff that I didn't go to or participate in. And I never once felt like I was missing out. And now that I'm older, I know that I wasn't missing out. Yeah. But at the time, it felt like I was sacrificing. Like it felt like, I'm on a mission and all those other things. Only now do I realize, hindsight being 2020, that like, no, this was always my path. Like I wouldn't have had fun at those parties. It's not my vibe. It's not my place. You know what I mean? My place is here. My place is the grind. Sure. Whether that grind is education, my corporate life, whatever that grind is, my place is there. And I wish one of the things that I try to tell the kids is like, because especially the seniors as they're graduating high school and they're like I think it's a tough question to ask an 18-year-old, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? Yeah, the thing I tell them is like, first of all, work is work, whether it's white collar or blue collar. There's no such thing as a bad job, only bad salaries. So there's not a question of like, what is your passions or what are these or whatever you decide to do in this life, so long as you're very adequate at it or like above average, you will make money and a good living. Yeah, for sure. Now what we're really asking is like, what path do you want to take? Not necessarily what do you want to do, but what path? Do you want to take the path of mediocrity, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like it'll be a little bit of a lazier lifestyle. You won't have so many you'll have the 40-hour week and you'll have your 401k, and after 40, 50 years of this, you could probably retire at 70, you know what I mean? And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that lifestyle. Or maybe you want a little bit more. Well, then are you willing to work 50-hour weeks? Are you willing to do 2 jobs? Yeah. Are you willing to, set aside some money, not necessarily, spend everything you make? And then maybe you want some more. It's like, okay, well, do you want to be above average at what you're doing? Do you want to take on all the risks that entails? Do you want to take on some of your own capital risk and start something yourself? Like, I think the question of like, go to school for a major, what do you want to do for the rest of your life is just, it's not a good way to ask the question. It's more of like, what kind of life do you want? Yeah, that's... Like, what's the end goal? And then we'll go from there. And the reason why this dawned on me was Because I used to be like, make money. But then when I started coaching high school, I realized that there's just different people. There's this girl that graduated that wanted to work at the Amazon warehouse. And I was like, that sounds miserable to me. To me, that sounds like miserable. But she was saying, like, after she graduated, like, we keep in touch, you know what I mean? She was talking about how she loves it. Like, she gets to put her headphones in. She does her 40-hour weeks. She goes home and hangs out with her friends or whatever. And then it dawned on me. I was like, dude, not everybody has that same...
Yeah, right.
They don't want the same thing. So, like, we're not necessarily going to, like, from A to B. I could be going from A to B. You're going A to C. Someone else goes A to D. Like, infinite
Where
paths.
you find your path.
We're just finding what works for us.
Yeah.
And now what I tell people is, like, what kind of life do you... I don't ask them, what do you want to do?
Right.
I ask them, what kind of life do you want? Do you want to work hard? Like, do you want to be, like, grinding and doing 60-hour weeks? Well, because then that will result in a different lifestyle. Do you not want to work that hard? Like, there's no wrong answer.
Right.
I think the only wrong answer is, like, you don't want to work. You don't want any responsibility. If you don't want anything, like, sorry, dude.
Yeah.
You grow up.
Can't live like that.
So you chose the path of, like, the difficult path. You chose the path of doing multiple things, having to manage your time, choosing to work multiple jobs and go to school, and then also pursue what I would call a hobby at this point, because that's what I called it when I was an amateur. Who knows what it might become.
Right, for sure.
So obviously you feel strong enough and passionately about this that it's a big part of your life now. Would you consider it a failure if you never went pro?
No. I mean, no, I would definitely be upset if I didn't at least get to go pro. I think it's close. Like, if I wanted to go pro, I could go fight and I have a positive record, I can go pro, you know?
What is the threshold for going pro or not going pro to you?
Like,
how is someone ready and not ready?
For me, like, I've only had 4 fights. I'm having my 5th one. I think you should have 10 fights. 9, 10 fights. It depends actually how you're. If you go 8-0, 8 finishes, fight top competition.
What if you took 10 fights in 10 years or if you took 10 fights in 1 year?
Yeah, I mean, it's each their own then, you know? I feel like there's...
Do you think it's a numeric thing, like a fight thing? Or do you think it's a skill set thing?
Yeah, I think skill-wise, too. Like, I'd like to be comfortable. Like I said, I want to try MMA, see how it goes. Like, I know my first couple fights will probably be, you know, good MMA fights. And then after that, the competition is going to get real hard. And if I can't hang with those guys, you know, it's like, all right, well, maybe I don't go in this avenue. I can do some kickboxing fights, go pro. And, I mean, it's cool to say you're a pro athlete no matter what, you know? And
have you ever thought about, like, because we were talking about MMA, but, I mean, you predominantly started with kickboxing first. Have you thought about, like, boxing or Muay Thai or any of the other striking classes?
I think Muay Thai would be something I'd do. Boxing? Nah, man.
Why not?
Dude.
It's a joke?
No. Yeah, I mean, questionable, but...
What, you think you're above boxing?
Dude, there's some boxers...
Don't do amateur boxing. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Boxing's a joke.
Dude, there's some boxers I've sparred. Like, there's a guy who used to train at our gym. His name was Danny.
Shout out Danny.
Yeah,
unless
guy.
He's bad.
No, he was... Dude, he's...
Right, shout out
he's
Danny.
Stud, man. Like, he's doing real well now, even in amateur boxing. And I remember just, like... how different my kickboxing striking is just to my boxing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so, like, it's a whole new sport. And I was just this dude is lighting me up right now. Like,
because he only has to focus on hands.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, boxing is also just way too many shots to the head compared to every other sport.
Agreed.
You know, I don't.
Listen, man, I've had some fucking battles in that cage, okay?
Yeah.
The only time I've ever had, like, a headache was from one boxing match. I've never had that before, where the next day I couldn't, like, I had to close the blinds.
Exactly.
I couldn't.
And just...
The sun would hurt my eyes, and I realized I had bad concussions. And I won the fight by split decision, right? Or the boxing match.
Yeah.
Because I hit him 250 times, and he only hit me 240 times. I mean, it was, like, I would never advise anyone to fight the way that I fought that day, but that's how I had to fight to win. But I would agree with you in the sense of, like, if I had a son, or if my daughter ever wanted to, like, fight, it would be on the contingency that, like, what do you want to fight in? I want to box? No.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not letting you box. I'm also not letting you play football or hockey.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
If you want to do MMA, I'm cool with that. I'm serious. Like,
no, I know, but people who don't know MMA are just, like, going to look at that and be like, what? That makes no sense.
It is more violent. I will say that it is more, like, visceral violence. However, in terms of, like, true... The toll it takes on your body is more than boxing, but it's not our body that we're trying to prevent from, like, getting damaged. It's our brain.
Right.
Because, like, I can live with a bad back. I can live with bad shoulders, bad knee, bad hand. I can live with all that. I can't live with dementia. I can't live with all these other things. And that was one of the things that I'd be curious to ask you this, because I remember when I was going to school and all that stuff, I want to be careful how I say this because I went to a lot of gyms, so I'm going to be very high level and vague. I could see the price of CTE in real time as I was training, because I would have like the young guys, the middle-aged guys, and like the older guys, and I could see, I'm like, oh my God, like, and now I'll tell you this, as I've gotten older, I've seen guys that like I've trained alongside, and I talk to them now, and I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is the dark side of our sport, but it was always something that I was cognizant of. Like even when I was training and everything, even the way I would train, I would try to minimize head trauma, not necessarily body. Like even when we trained, what was our rule? Our rule was half to the head, rip to the body.
Yeah, rip the body, rip the legs.
You can kick as hard as you want to the legs. You can get to the body, go ahead, rip it as hard as you want. But like to the head, we pull everything.
Pull everything, yeah.
But the problem with that is like, you know, you do kind of take some miles to the body as well. Like I'll be the first person to tell you, like there's some aches and pains. But one of the things that I don't have is, at least to my knowledge, right? Like I only have one brain. So if I do have CTE, I wouldn't know it. You know what I mean? But based on like my cognitive abilities and how I'm able to navigate this world, I do not suspect that I have detrimental effects for my life in fighting. Is that something that you are cognizant or / fearful of?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I also do a good job, I think, of not getting hit that much, and avoiding getting hit to the head a lot. People hit me in the body or kicks, but like I have really good defense. What are you looking at me like that for? This guy.
Bro, your last fight that I saw you in, you got dropped in the first round.
No, that was the fight before. I fought Nuriel Henry.
My bad. You did fight Nuriel.
He didn't touch me.
No, you did a very good job in that fight.
Yeah, that fight. Well, I blame Chris for that one and Jeff, because I looked at them both and I said, guys, as soon as it starts, I'm getting in his face. And they go, Eric, don't get in his face. Just feel him out. And I was like, no, I want to get in his face. I'm going to make it dirty. He's going to gas. I know it. They're like, let him gas. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then we touch the next thing, you know, I'm on the ground. And I'm like, what the hell
what just happened?
And then in the corner, I sit there. I'm like, Chris. He's like, what? I'm like, did I get dropped? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, damn.
What did he hit me with? His fist.
And even watching that fight, like back, I'm like, holy crap, that was...
Dude, I was sitting next to your mom.
Yeah,
that was an experience.
Yeah, I could imagine. Oh, man. What was funny, too, is like my girlfriend and my sisters and my brothers and some other people were at my house watching it, and they just said it was silent.
Oh, I bet. So like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I said something to your mom, and I wish I wouldn't have said it. She's like, oh, no. And I was like, don't worry, I've hit him harder. Yeah. And she looks at me, and I was like... in hindsight, she told me that. Maybe not the best thing to say to your mom. I was like, no, Eric's fine. Eric's, trust me, I've seen him get hit with some shots.
That was a cool clip though to watch back. Honestly, because I got up and I was like, oh crap, what do you know?
You know what's funny about fighting? You're onto something. Some of the things that make me the most proud of my career weren't the fights where like I dominated the guy, but it was the fights where I had to like overcome adversity. And when I look back at my career, I do remind myself, like, oh, yeah, I did this.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, man, it is quick when you're done. Like, it's been 2.5 years now since I fought, 3 years since I fought, and it feels like literally a lifetime ago. Ago. It's hard for me to remember. I was like, oh, yeah, I did do that, or, oh, that's right. Like, we did train together or something like that. Maybe that is the CTE. All right. That's a bad example.
But, yeah.
So managing that though together and trying to navigate working full time, training full time, going to school full time. Once the school is done, have you thought about that? Because then you're going to have a lot more free time.
Yeah, I have, and I mean that's where I'm going to fight a lot more often, and really just because then it'll be work, train nonstop.
Is that when you'll go pro, similar to what I thought?
Dude, I think I'm going to wait a couple more years. At least.
Years?
Yeah, I think I'd want to go pro at like 26, 26. So maybe even longer than that. I'm 22.
Okay. Help me wrap my head around this mentality. Earlier you said number of fights. Now you're saying age. My question goes back to what is how will you know when you are ready? Yeah. Like is that an age thing?
Well, I'd like to.
Then you can stop training today and then age. And then when you hit 25,
no, it's
go
more
pro.
Just it gives me enough time to really get comfortable learning grappling and really become more of a master of it, do some jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that.
Because it's MMA that you want to pursue.
Well, I want to, like I said, we can see. I just know I'd like to pursue MMA more than I would kickboxing, I think, because it's more fun. And also, I'm more of a fan of MMA than I am kickboxing. But like I said, a lot can change in a couple years and stuff like that. So no rush for me. And also, like, I just want to. I'll know when I'm ready to go pro. When I'm around the people, I'm like, listen, do you guys think like? Because I remember you told me like, dude, why don't you go pro in like a couple more fights? And when I talked to Chris, he's like, I mean, dude, I'm a pro, and you can hold your own. He's like, there's no, but it's up to you. I'm like, I don't. And I've sparred some other pros at other gyms and at our gym, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I can handle striking
You're
some
good.
of these guys. Yeah.
I wouldn't have told you that if I didn't think you could handle it.
Right, and I agree. So
And there's also, I hate to say this, but there is this fine line to where, like, the longer you stay amateur, you actually start to get harder fights than you would if you were to go pro. Because if you're like, when I was 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, everything was a championship fight. Everything was like this up and coming prospect and this up and coming prospect. I was like, damn, this guy's 9-0, this guy's 11-1 or whatever. The second I went pro, the record started going back to like 1-1, 0-0. You know what I mean? I was like much more manageable, much more like. I don't want to say that the fights that I had as soon as I went pro were easier than the ones that I had as an amateur, because I was always chasing tough fights. But I thought to myself, like, how much more am I going to fight for free?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I get that. And
I just finished school, so I was like, all right, now or never. So that's why I was asking the question kind of repeatedly, because I didn't know if it was like you were waiting to get done with school, if there's like a threshold you want. But now that I understand that it's not necessarily kickboxing/boxing you want to go into, it's mixed martial arts, then yeah, I would tell you, like, if we would have had that conversation and you told me you wanted to do MMA pro, I would have told you, no, you need years.
Yeah, right.
You need years of wrestling, you need years of jiu-jitsu, you need years of grapple boxing, you need years of clinch work.
Yeah.
You just need years.
There's a lot of holes you need to fill. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm still young, I'm only 22. There's tons of time, and there's a lot that can happen. Like, who knows?
Like a baby.
Yeah. Nope. Not a baby. Don't worry. That's not on. No.
Well, that's how babies work, brother.
No,
come out of nowhere.
I'm not.
Bruno was on birth control. Trust me.
Listen.
They happen out of nowhere.
Next question. This guy. Next question.
So, I don't know how to transition to this part of the conversation. This is how I'm going to do it. So, the reason why I respect you and admire you as much as I do is because I see a lot of some of the same things that I've had to overcome in my life. Specifically, first of all, we're both Albanian.
Yeah.
I believe you are the first Albanian podcast guest I've had.
There we go. I'll take it. Let's
first
go.
And last.
Represent.
First and last. But like, when you were going to the gym at first, like you were coming in and you were going to school and working and everything. And then when I saw you, I was like, oh, that's right. Like I remember what it was like to be your age, to be doing what you were doing. So I felt this natural affinity towards you. And you were very similar to me. You were fucking loud and obnoxious and talked a bunch of shit, but endearing, and you worked hard, and you were a great training partner. So like, while on one flip of the coin, you were like a pain in the ass, on the other flip of the coin, you were the life of the party. You know what I mean? You're a boon to have at gyms. But there was also another variable, and that was when I was 19, my mother passed. And I believe when you were 19...
No, I was 15 when my father passed.
Forgive me, even younger than I was when your father passed. So this whole time we've been having this conversation of like having to overcome, schedule conflicts and all these other things and injuries and overcome this, that, or the other. One of the things that we're leaving out of the equation is the topic of also having to handle both emotionally the loss of a parent, simultaneously having to navigate all of these things with one less guardian.
Yeah.
Because for those that, and by the way, this is going to be kind of like I'm not trying to make it sad, but like the purpose of this conversation is two-pronged. Number one, I want people to realize how important family is.
Right,
because you only have, let's say you have a couple brothers and sisters and a mom and a dad. That's it. And eventually everyone will pass, including yourself, right? It is every child's duty / responsibility to bury their parents. The only way we want to do that, though, is later rather than sooner, right?
For sure.
But when you lose one parent, it makes it painfully apparent how influential and how important they are to the dynamic, not just for you,
right?
But if you have siblings, for the spouse, right? Because I was talking about like when my mom died, the impact that it had on my father, and you were like, dude, trust me, like there was impacts on our side of the family as well. So one of the things I want to take a step back on is say like, so obviously your father passes at 15. let's talk about, the next year, not necessarily day 2.
No, right. But,
because everybody understands the grieving process and everything like that. But like, okay, you're 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
You're still finishing high school.
Yeah.
This is before martial arts. This is before any
Right.
of these things. Walk me through, like, I'll ask you this question. Is there any part of you that didn't really care that much about school because you were just like, whatever about a lot of shit?
Yeah, I was a freshman when my father passed. And I remember, like, right after that, I was like, so for those who know, my father took his life. So that was already like way harder than, if he would have passed any other way. So for me, for 2 years, I was actually in therapy at school. I had a counselor. I don't talk to her anymore. I wish I did though. But
did it help?
Oh, well, like for me at first, I went to school the next day actually. I made
After his passing?
The very next day because I didn't want to stay home because I was like
anywhere but here.
But and not just that, it still felt like maybe this isn't real or whatnot. So I went to school the next day, and as soon as I was there, I had a principal at the time. Her name was Miss Ramondo. Shout out her because she was a big help for me during high school too. She pulled me immediately. Was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry," because my mom emailed them. So she made me meet this lady. Her name was Mrs. Brunsman, and it was very nice to have that outlet away from everyone to where I could go and talk to someone. And it was during school, so throughout school, I probably didn't care that much because I just had so many different things on my mind, and still this day, I still try to understand what happened. It's weird. It's definitely weird because it's been 7 years, and some days it feels like it was a week ago. Some days it feels like
a lifetime.
Yeah, a lifetime. So it's like, wow.
Does it hit you randomly?
Yeah, all the time. Like songs, like I'll hear a song that'll, or like I'll see sometimes even do like just a sad video of like a parent passing away on social media or something. It's like, damn, yeah, like
I don't know if I'm doing TMI, but like, same. It'll hit me randomly. I was dropping off my daughter, and I was having a conversation. Like, she's a 3-year-old, so the conversation isn't that deep. But I always love like interacting with her. You know what I mean? And it hit me because, and it's like something that'll carry on forever, right? I was taking her to my mother-in-law, as we call her, Nona, right? Yeah. Nona, singular, right? And she's starting to realize now that Nona means grandma means mom's mom, right? So she's like, Daddy, is Nona mom's mom or your mom? And I was like, Nona's mom's mom. And then she goes, where's my mom? Yeah. Or, your like, mom, where's your mom? And I was like, oh, she's in the sky, you know what I mean? And I was just kind of like, she watches over you and things like that. And then my daughter was just like, I like that Nona watches over me. You know what I mean? Like, just that's like some. Yeah. But I'm telling you right now, I dropped her off. I bawled like a child on the way home. You know what I mean? Yeah. For like 15 minutes on the way home before work, I'm just crying. Not like, it was weird because it wasn't like me sad crying. Yeah. It was just like, fuck, man. Yeah. I can't speak for everybody because like, I don't know about you, but like for me, I loved my mother. She was a fantastic mom. And I wish my daughter would get to know her. And like my mom would have loved my daughter and my daughter would have loved my mom. You know what I mean? That's why I was crying. I was crying because I realized it dawned on me those missed opportunities. And when you were saying earlier, like some days it feels like a week ago, some days it feels like a lifetime ago, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. And here's the dark side of this. So yours is 7, mine is, I think, close to 14 or 15 years now. Does not change. Yeah. Does not change. That happened 3 or 4 months ago. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when I thought that over the course of time it would, now I'm just like, this is how it is. Yeah. It's that acceptance. Is that bad? 'Cause I think it's kind of good.
I honestly had a fear that like, and I even told my counselor at the time, I was like, I'm scared that like 5 years from now, we're all gonna just think of it as another day, like his birthday or like him, because he's not in the picture anymore. My father's
like
not in the picture.
Like the weight would go away?
And I mean, my father and I had a decent relationship. I definitely think compared to my siblings, I mean, my mom will say I got picked on a little bit more.
From your father or just in general?
Yeah, from my father and stuff like that.
Are you the youngest boy? Sorry.
So I'm the second youngest boy.
Okay, so sorry. There's 4 siblings.
I have 4 siblings. 1 older brother, 2 younger sisters, 1 younger brother.
Gotcha. So you're like the middle.
Yeah, the middle.
No, not really middle boy. You're like second in line. Sorry.
And with that, it came as like my older brother was better than me at things.
You were the second born.
Yeah.
Like I got an older brother. I know.
Yeah, it was like so. I felt that a lot of times, and we always had like moments and stuff like that. And the times where like the hardest thing you have said you had a great relationship with your mother and stuff like that, and my father and I had a lot of great moments, but most of his life that I remember isn't great moments, and that still hasn't like gone away, which is kind of sad, you know. There's obviously moments where I think of it, I'm like, oh, well, this story pop up and something, but like, if you ask me to, you know, think of happy jolly times all the time, it's a lot harder.
Well, it's okay. Let me add you a different paradigm. It's not as if I'm remembering different jolly times, because remembering my mom also brings me back to a time when we were grievously poor. I mean, my childhood was like poverty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, honestly, whenever I think back to my mom, it's an overwhelming anger more than anything. Not at her, because all my mom, like the truth of the matter is, all my mom knew was struggle, poverty, and then she died. Struggle, poverty, and then she died. And now when I think about how abundant life is, not just like monetary wealth, but like my daughter, my wife, my brother, like we want for very little. And if there was ever a time to be alive, to reap the benefits of all that work, it would be now. And she didn't get any of that. So like, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. There was, up until my daughter was born, I hated God. I was like, fuck this, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, none of this fucking matters. What does it matter? Like, my mom was like, you know, all these other things. Wow. You start taking into consideration, like, she did everything that you were supposed to do. She worked hard. She was honest, all these other things. And what did you do? You gave her cancer and she died.
Yeah.
Well, fuck you, dude. Like, that's what I thought. And it wasn't until my daughter was born that changed. But the reason I'm bringing that up is you are mistaking my implication of my personal relationship with my mother as if that is what I remember.
Right.
When in reality, what I remember more than anything is the times and how she put in all the work and got none of the reward.
Yeah.
And I've talked to some people, and everyone's response to me is like, but you have to understand, Ariane, like, she loved you and your brother and she was investing in you guys. Yeah, cool. Whenever I invest in shit, it's with the intention that I'm going to get to reap what I sow. Yeah, if I put in $1,000 a day, I want to see that $10,000 return to me, not you get that $10,000 after I die. You know what I mean? So like, when people try to like make me happy about like all this other stuff, I was like, yeah, I get what you're trying to do, but you guys are misinterpreting why I'm upset. I'm not upset for myself or any of these things, because obviously what she did paid off. Yeah. I'm upset for her.
That she isn't there.
She didn't get to do any of that stuff.
Right.
You know, you could say like, you know, the eternal life and all these other things, and I do believe in all this other stuff, but that's still, I'm human.
Right.
I'm sinful. I'm flawed. Fuck that. I'm still, dude, there will never be a day where I'm not angry about it. But forgive me. The reason I brought that up was because maybe that personal relationship with your father wasn't like exactly what you wanted, or when you look back on it, hindsight being 2020, maybe I could also think maybe you're overthinking some things, but I would also say that, you know, the interpersonal relationships with your brother, your mom, your siblings, like, I wonder how that picture is painted in totality, not at the individual, but with everybody. Do you think, the question I have is, do you think they all think like you, or do you think that there are many ways to view this?
No, you know, yes and no. Like, my father, for the last couple of years before when he was alive, had a bad drinking problem, and it definitely affected at home. You know what I mean? Like, and my mom would argue, he would argue with us and stuff like that. So I think some of us have, like, my youngest brother, he's 14 now, so he was 7. I don't know what his memories are, you know, and that hurts a lot, because it's like, we'll say things and he won't remember it and whatnot. And it's like, oh, damn, dude, like, you were there though, but you were so little. And that hurts like a lot, you know, because it's like, well.
Does he ask you about him?
No, which is also kind of, because it's a sense of, like, no one in my family, I think, at least in my house, is comfortable talking about it. Yeah. And it's kind of like, even like his birthday or like the year of when he passes and stuff like that, we all know that everyone's feeling it in a different way, but we just don't open up about it, you know? And it is sad, but it's a hard thing to talk about, you know?
It could also be yet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, maybe you don't talk about it this year.
Everyone's
maybe next year,
and,
or maybe 10 years down the line. Who knows? Yeah. Have you had conversations with your mom about it, or?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit and stuff like that. I think my mom's opened up probably to me a little bit more than some of my other siblings and stuff like that. I haven't really had many conversations with like my younger brother or my sisters. My older brother and I have had a couple of conversations, but it's more just like, he has nothing but great memories, which I love. I'm so glad that he has, you know, all this like picture perfect, like that was everything. But the case was, it wasn't like that. So
What if it's not like that, but that's what he says?
Yeah, I mean, that could be true,
'Cause he's the older one. He wants to kind of relish that image.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't think of it from that perspective.
I'm also speculating.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. But no, him and my dad were way closer than we were, and like, even some of the things he does now, you could tell. Like, my dad had his own mechanic shop, and for the longest time, my brother was like, "I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a mechanic." But it's like we got rid of the shop. You know what I mean? And he was angry that we got rid of the shop. But it was like, dude, we can't afford to keep the shop.
Yeah,
and it's. We
you're not gonna own it. So how old was he when your father passed? If you were 15, he was
17.
17. Yeah,
yeah. But like eventually he was like, I wanted to, and it's just like one of those things like, dude, I know
what are we
you
gonna
want
do?
to.
Hold
like,
on to it for 5 years or so you can have it?
But so I don't know. We all went and took it differently, and I don't know.
When you navigate the world now, and there's a couple of questions I have, and I want to iterate that this is pre-recorded. If there's something you don't want to answer, don't want to say,
for sure.
And by the way, I'm trying to navigate this as respectfully as possible. I hope you know that.
Yes.
Do you use him as fuel for your life? Like, what legacy has he left for you? How do you view his life, his death, his meaning to you, and then as you walk this earth?
Yeah. So for me, like, since my father passed away, I kept telling myself I would right his wrongs. So all the areas I thought my father could have been a better person at or been a better, done better in, I want to do better in. But there's a lot of things, like my father was one of the most honest people I've ever met. He owned a mechanic shop, and there was times like I'd go help him in a shop, and he would like come by and someone's like, oh, they said this cost me $3,000, and then he'd look at them and be like, no, this is a $200 fix. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay $3,000. I'm not going to rip you off. And he never was a person who would scam people. He was very kind. It was just the drinking that took over him, and I've never drank in my life, and I don't know if I ever will.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Off the record, I asked him if he wanted a whiskey, and he says, no, I don't drink.
I don't drink. And I mean, I've had like a sip
Only
of alcohol.
now do I realize.
Yeah, but like, it's one of those things that like, I don't want to see what that side of me is. Like my father, we made Rocky, which who doesn't know, it's Albanian moonshine, but we made some, and we have like bottles for all of us at our wedding. They're like 10 years old now, 12 years old now. And it's like, I'm like, well, am I ever going to open this up? Like, is this something I want to drink? Is this, I don't want to become a person like, because you don't know who you are when you're drunk, and I don't.
I can, listen, I'm never going to argue for anybody to drink alcohol. Like, it's a poison. Don't do it if you don't want to do it. But I do want to fixate on this righting his wrongs as if this is your responsibility. Surely you understand that that's unhealthy. Your responsibility is nothing. You have no responsibility for his life.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean, but I like carry it like that. I don't know. It just there's things like he did that I would want to do differently. Like I mean, the way he passed and stuff like that leaves a lot of questions in your life and your purpose and I just like him and my mom argued a lot, especially during. And I'm like, well, I want to be a better father. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a successful business owner. Not that he wasn't a successful business owner. You owned a business and stuff like that. But my father had all the knowledge you could think about cars. He was one of the greatest mechanics I've ever met, and anyone who ever went to a shop would say that. But he didn't have any business knowledge. So how do you have a business when you don't understand marketing? You know what I mean? And
you hire someone to administer the business.
Yeah, exactly. That's why that degree is so useful.
I shouldn't be making that joke.
No, don't worry, dude. It's good. But so it's just, I don't know. I just feel like I want to showcase what he left and that I can be a better example than he was. I think that would be the greatest thing is that I'm financially free. I'm a great father, a great husband, and I'm just passionate and I'm happy, So
when you look back on it, do you look back on it with fondness or do you look back on it with, I don't want to use like a negative word. When you look back on your time with him, what is like the number one thing you feel?
Probably anger, anger.
But for different reasons than when I say I'm angry.
Yeah, right. And I mean, a lot of regret,
Sorry.
No, you're good.
We can always switch the topic whenever you want.
No, it's fine. I like the day before he passed, everyone was like trying to call him. I didn't, and so that like I never got like a proper goodbye. You know what I mean? The last time I saw him was like 2 days before he passed away too. So that still
Made
haunts.
you feel some type of way?
Yeah, I mean, like afterwards, after it all happened, like to this day, it's like, why didn't I call you? I could at least.
Yeah, but you were 15.
Yeah, but.
Because I have some of those things. Listen, I have some of those same. You have no idea how I have some of those same things. When I look back, I look back with anger at myself.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of times where my mom needed help and I didn't help. There were a lot of times where my mom probably needed me more than I gave myself to her. But I always look back with like this hindsight is 2020 and the maturity that you get with age. And by the way, you will only get older and you will only conceptualize more and understand more. And then it'll only add, like, if you think there's layers to that onion right now, just wait, brother, because another 100 is going to get added. And I'm telling you, like, I have to stop myself. Because I start going down that rabbit hole of like, why the fuck didn't I do this? Like, Arion, you were so selfish. You were so this. You were like, but then I was 13.
Right.
I was 16. Right. Like,
you're still young.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I look at the high schoolers now, like these 14 to 18-year-olds. Dude, they're children.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. They're children. Like, even the 18-year-olds, even the seniors, I think to myself, like, you guys are like kids. You're not ready yet. Like, you still need a couple of years to cook.
Yeah.
And some similarities, some differences, but I've come to 3 conclusions, and I'll say them, and I'm curious to see if you agree or disagree. Conclusion number 1, there is no right time. Whether it happened 50 years from now, I'd still be sad. Right. Whether it happened 10 years prior, I would have been even more sad. I don't know. You know what I mean? But there is no right time. Yeah. And I've had to tell myself that because, like, there's times where I say to myself, like, well, I wish I would have got like 5 more years with her. Then I would have been sad that she died when I was 24.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Or I wish I would have got 50 more years. Oh, I'd be sad she died when I was 60. Like, there's no right time to lose a parent. That's like a universal.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you would agree with that.
I do agree with that. If my mom passes away at 75, it's still going to hit me the same, for sure.
It's nice to have more time. Right. Like, I'll add that variable. It's always nice to have more time. But whenever I have a man that I deeply admire and respect, his father died at close to like 100. Wow. And it's still like, it didn't wreck him, but like, he's still now like, misses his dad.
For sure.
And he's like a 70-year-old man. Wow. Misses his dad.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword. If you lose a parent young, you don't have a whole lot to like go on your parent. Right. And that's a sadness in itself too, right? Because like that absence. But then the more time you have with them, I feel like you'll have just that deeper hole when that time inevitably passes. It is an inevitability, and it is the proper way. I say this all the time. The parents should be. I don't want to bury my daughter.
Right. No.
I want my daughter to bury me. That is call that selfish. I don't care. I don't know what you would call that.
No, I agree.
But like 100%. I have this feeling of like, you better outlive me.
Yeah.
I want you to outlive me. You know what I mean? And if I have more children, obviously, like if there's a bullet, I'll run in its way. If there's a train, I'll, whatever I have to do. Like, you will bury me. That's the proper way to do it. However, it's with full acknowledgement as someone who's had to bury a parent that that's going to be a tough toll on them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that the only thing that we as parents can do is, I tell my wife this all the time, and I don't think she understands it because both of her parents are still alive, is because I'm a little hard on Adriana. And like everybody else around her is like coddles her and spoils her and all this other stuff. And I get it. She's a, beautiful, cunning young little girl, you know what I mean? Like, and she's infectious and all these other things. And I'm the one who tells her, no chocolate, no to this. And my wife one day was like, why are you so hard on her? And I was like, everybody around her is going to spoil her. My job is to prepare for when I'm not here. And Bruna was like, that's a little dark. I go, that's reality.
Yeah.
That's reality.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my trauma, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever people, the freaking progressives say nowadays, that's my trauma. But like, that's how I view it. Is like, there will be a day where I'm no longer here. And my job as a parent is to prepare them for that day. And if they are prepared for that day, then I succeeded. If they're not, I failed as a father. That is my binary on that. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with any of the things. When I die, can you inherit this earth? If yes, I did my job. So like in a weird way, hate to say it this way, your dad did a great job. Because look at your family. I'll tell you this off the record. I talk to a lot of the Albanians. You know what I mean? And when I say talk to a lot of the Albanians, we share some of those.
Yeah.
But like my Albanian circle is more like, you know, the older generation, because they're the entrepreneurs that I've interacted with or whatever.
Friends with your father.
There's an immense reverence for your family.
There's a
reverence for your family, meaning there's a lot of respect, and they admire, especially your mom and what she was able to like do with the kids. Because
for sure.
The way you are viewed as a family is like good kids. She did a great job. Yada yada yada. And I think that's a reflection of, you know, your father did something right.
Yeah, no, for
Does
sure.
that make sense?
Yeah, I agree 100%. And yeah, I mean, so did my mom, you know, and now that when I'm older, like it's just like I could not imagine being where my mom was. You know, like you talked about earlier about where your father, like as I am now, and even like I'm not married or anything, I don't have any kids, but like for her to go through that, I'm like, holy shit, like, and then also have to worry about your 5 kids you have and try and make sure they're okay. It's like, wow, there's like in perspective, it's like, wow, this. And then same thing, like when I go see my grandparents, like dude, for 4, they've just started now getting comfortable and like accepting it, like probably within a year ago.
His parents.
Yeah, his parents.
When you say the grandparents,
so his parents here, and like, dude, I'm telling you, like,
I didn't even take that into consideration.
Yeah, and that's
both of my grandparents on both sides are dead.
Yeah.
So like when my mom died, her mom was still alive, but in Albania, so we didn't get to talk that much. But you know, my father's parents have been dead, and subsequently now my mom's mom did pass, so I have no grandparents. So like this is just not a variable I'd ever have to interact with. Yeah. I hate to ask, what is that variable like?
I mean,
do you talk to them?
Yeah,
about it?
So we not really, not a lot. It's more.
Do they live in St. Louis?
Yeah, they live in St. Louis. So I see them all the time. I love my grandparents, and they've grown, like they're new people now than they were even when my father was around. They're
7 years. That's a lot of time.
But
people change.
Huh?
People change.
Yeah, for the first few years, I'm like we'd go over there to try and watch our grandma and make sure she was okay. You know, because she lost her son.
Yeah.
And like as a 16-year-old kid, I'm like, well, I lost my dad, and I'm here trying to make sure my grandma's okay. You know, like this seems wrong. But now I'm like, she lost her son. You know, not only did I lose my father, but like the whole purpose.
It goes back to what I said.
And right. And now as I'm getting older, I see these different ideas, and like now they're, you know, it still hits them like a truck, and when it hits, it's the worst thing in the world for them. But I look a lot like my father did at his age, they say. So like they'll see me, and like sometimes like they'll just like start tearing up a little bit, and it's like, oh God, it's like, come on.
It's also a bittersweet feeling, that crying. You know, one of the things I didn't say is like the reason I cried is because I had so much love for her, right? So it's like, it's the weirdest cry.
Right.
It's like a happy, angry, sad.
It's just
like you're just overwhelmed with emotions. If that makes sense.
That's what's beautiful though about love. You know, like to feel that, I guess, after someone passes, it's like knowing you love them that much that it's like.
Do you recall earlier when I told you after my mom passed that I hated God?
Yeah.
I hated God for a decade.
Yeah.
And then my daughter was born.
Right.
And it clicked.
Wow.
And I realized, you know, listen, whether you're like Muslim, whether you're Jewish, whether you're, I really don't give a fuck, to be honest with you. Here's what I know for certain. There is a divine providence, or like a perfection of creation that it's in an imperfect world. Because like when I look at it objectively, I realize like the beauty of the way that I think and how I view things is because of everything that had to happen the way it happened. And the only reason I am the man that I am and the values that I have and all these other things is because of how.
Yeah.
And by the way, I am by no means trying to say that I am a sinful creature as well. I've never once said that I'm like a good guy or any of these things. I'm good in aspects. I'm not so good in other aspects. I'm always working on myself just like everybody else. But one thing that I know for certain is that there is something that did this. Whether it's Jesus Christ, whether it's Yahweh, whether it's Muhammad, insert your poison, whatever you want to do it. But what gives me the most solace is when my daughter was born, it instantly hit me that hate that I had for this higher being then turned to like an extreme helplessness. Like, if there is a God, and that I hated, now I'm pleading to him to protect her.
Yeah.
Please.
Wow.
Please. Like, whatever I need to pay, whatever I have to do, whatever life I have to live, like I would love some direction. Like don't do to her what you've done in my life to other people. Like whatever price. And then it goes back to my mom, and I think to myself, like, you know, when my mom, you start thinking about shit, dude. And, you know, when I was young, I would think, like, why does my mom have cancer? And then I'm sure my mom, in the back of her head, some part of her was like, thank God I have cancer and my kids don't.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Because, like, I know that if my daughter had cancer, I would, like, take it in a heartbeat if I could.
For sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. Wow.
If I don't know if, like, I'm wording this properly.
No, I understand what you're saying.
So it was a weird feeling that of introspection and retrospection at the same time. Because while I was actively thinking about love and purpose and responsibility and placement, I was also contemplating history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in real time, it was like being rewritten by the new emotions and the new variables that I was being presented. Because I was never a parent at the time.
Right.
It was always from the perspective of a kid, right? Or a son.
Right. Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
So all I'm saying is, as you age and as you do more, I think additional doors might open to how you view this.
And, you know, I actually I think I handle it well. I've noticed, like,
you do handle it very well.
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have met anyone at the gym if my father didn't pass. Because I went to Finney's at first when I was 15 to do boxing for like a month, and then I quit. And then, but for 2 years before or a year or whatever. Well, I guess I was 15 and I quit. But before I quit, my father passed away, and then I quit. But my father left messages for all of us, like recordings, before he passed away. And his recording, he told me, like, hey, if you want to still fight, like, keep doing it, just don't get hurt. And there was obviously more to it and stuff like that. But for 2 years, you know, I was out. I didn't train or anything. I just was at home. And I didn't really even train when I went for that month. I went to Finney's. But then when I came back, it just changed me to a whole different person. You know, I met so many more people. And the hardest part for me is not growing up with a father figure. There's a lot of moments in my life where it's like, wow, you know, I could use that extra hand or someone to land. But I met so many people that can help me with that area, you know, like Chris, Wayne, and other people at the gym. I mean, even when you were there, some of the ways, like, I just see other people and their traits, and I'm like, okay, I want to do something like what they've done. Like, when you were at the gym, you held yourself to a real high standard. When people walked in, you always said hi, you always introduced yourself and stuff like that. When everyone walks in, I always go up to them, hi, how are you, welcome in. And same thing, like, some of the way, like, moments when I have tough areas, I'm like, wow, what the hell do I do? I can sit down, talk to Wayne, Chris. There's another guy, Mark Mayfield, like, he's a little bit newer, but, like, any of them, I'm having these, like, issues in my life. I'm like, guys, like, I'm not sure what direction I should go in, you know, because losing a mother and losing a father suck, you know, no matter what, but they both play way different roles, at least. Correct. You know what I mean? Whether people believe that or not, they do.
No, they do.
And that's been, like, the hardest part now. And it's like, as I'm older now, I see all these different perspectives of, like, how everyone acts and how, like, since he's been gone, you know what I mean? And all the different areas, we've all grown tremendously. Like, I don't want to say, like, I've experienced more joy in my whole life, like, as I've gotten older after my father passed, and maybe that's because I didn't realize how, like, happy I could have been. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but what I mean is, like,
well, joys in life will hit you, dude.
Yeah,
and it's not. It took me a while to realize this. It's okay to be happy.
Yeah,
that it's. I don't have to feel guilty for moving on.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the truth. It's like, because on one thing you want to, like, honor and you know, respect their life by holding on. Hey, you were so important to me and I loved you so deeply that I don't want to let go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's so unhealthy.
Yeah, right.
You do have to let go.
Yeah, for sure. And
so it's a hard thing to, like, overcome and accept and be like, okay, like, I have to move on. I have my life.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
And,
by the way, I think if our parents were alive today, they'd say, let go.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree. I
go back to, like, my daughter. Like, when I die, yeah, she'll be sad, but, like, I want her to be prepared. You know what I mean? Like, don't dwell on this. Like, this was always the intended outcome.
Right.
Be sad for a day, a week, cool. Move on.
Yeah.
And I'll see you again someday.
Right. Yeah. So.
I hate to bring faith up into this conversation because I don't know your background, I don't know. For those of you with context, Albania, after the communist regime fell, basically fell where the northern side was Orthodox Christian and the southern side was Islamic because of proximity to neighboring nations that had different faiths. So I don't know what your religious background is, but that's not really the question I have. The question is more, were there questions of faith? Were there questions of afterlife? Do you have these deeper thoughts about what exists past this? And
yeah, I mean, so we never were big religious people in my family. Now,
agnostic, didn't go to church.
Yeah, none of us went to church or anything like that. Now I think a lot of us are more religious. I think that's actually given me a lot of closure. You know what I mean? After and everything like that,
it's a nice feeling.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to still go more to church and stuff like that. It's not something I'm going every Sunday. It's not something I do as well as I want, But my little brother, he's I believe he's Christian, and so is my sister and my other sister. I think religion's now come into our life. We were never Muslim or raised that go to church on Sundays, but we all believed in a God and a higher power. But it was never pushed on us, or not even pushed, I guess. We were never introduced to church and stuff like that.
I think they call it not the education path, but the curriculum of religion.
Yeah, right.
I would also say that even now I have a deep, I got my daughter baptized.
Right.
I hate to say it this way, but it's I'm hedging my bets. You know what I mean? I believe in God. I do. I just don't believe in humans. So I don't believe that everything written in the book is absolute. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There are things that feel correct to me. I don't know why they feel correct, but they feel correct to me. And I'll pursue those thoughts and those endeavors. I think there's a lot of wisdom in a lot of the scriptures and a lot of the writings. I'm not going to say that there isn't.
Right.
But I don't believe that the Bible word for word is the word of God. And no one, I don't think anybody would tell you that, right? I want to be very careful how I talk about Judaism and Islam because I'm not those things. So I don't feel like I have, to stand on that one. But what I'll say is what gave me solace was I just decided, I'll tell you what I did. I used logic because that's how I tackle life. And I said, okay, if God is all powerful and all good, and he created me in his image and he loves me and he will accept my sins and forgive me so long as I love and believe in him, then fine. I love and believe in you. But what loving and believing in you means is I don't go to church on Sunday and listen to some guy talk about some verses in the Bible and I did the good thing, so I should feel good. I do it in my own way. I will pray.
Right.
And my prayers aren't prayers are more conversations. And I will go to my mom's grave.
Yeah.
I will, I want to be careful how I say this because I don't want to come across as crass or, oh, well, that's not how you're supposed to be religious here. And fuck you. At least I am. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. And I was speaking with a priest who was also taking some finance courses. Funny thing how this works. And he said it best. He was he loves you. Just like you love your kid and your kid will do some things and all these other things and you'll get mad and you'll yell and all these other things, but you love your kid. That's how he loves you, but even more. So it's so long as I love him and so long as I live a life, not that I will always exceed expectations or, hit that golden mark, but as long as I'm trying to live a life to standards above me.
Wow. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel if my daughter lived her life to standards above her, I'd be happy.
Right.
Is she going to do everything that I want? No, but that's fine. So that's how I view it is I have moments of doubt.
Right.
I have moments of anger. I have moments of all these other things, but my mom was deeply religious.
Wow.
And my mom was the one that raised us and got us baptized and all these other things. And I'm telling you what, the one thing that helps me more than anything is the thought that she's in heaven.
Right. Yeah.
I'll say this right now, without a doubt. And I'll go a step further. And this has nothing to do with how your father ended his life. But this is what I truly believe in my heart. If God is all good, all loving, and all powerful, and he will forgive us for all of our sins, so long as we love and live through him, he'll forgive anything. So I actually think that, if you were to do a measurement of how many people go to heaven and hell, I think there would be an extremely disparaging factor of how many people go to heaven. Because I don't think there's so little my daughter could do to ever get me to not love her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just don't see how God would I'll say it out loud. I don't see how God can disparage on gay people. You made them that way. Why would you hate them for that? I don't see how God could hate murderers. People can have moments of lapsed judgment and anger and all these other things. Do they plead forgiveness? Do they regret? Do they ask for forgiveness? I just don't know. It sounds bad because it's almost like I'm omitting any heinous acts, but in reality, it's like, if it's true, the way we say it's true, then what are we saying? So that's my thing with religion is like, I believe and I love and I cherish and I do give my soul, but there has not been one human being on this earth that has perfectly
went through it.
Well, perfectly articulated how I should believe, how I should serve.
Right.
There are tenets that I live by, treat others how I want to be treated and all these other things. Like, don't get me wrong. I think like the 10 Commandments for the majority are like a good framework and all that stuff.
Right.
Kind of like the Bill of Rights, right? But I do also think that over the course of time, things change, technology and all these other things, and you have to modify this shit. You do. You have to adapt with the times, and I think Christianity does that better than any other religion. So I will give it that. But at the same time, the more you adapt, then the more you realize that you're going away from that core tenet. So it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't say that you're changing a religion and that every word is gospel. Which one is it?
Right.
Are we changing our religion, or is every word gospel? Because by that nature, it's the Old Testament the whole way through. So what are we saying? To get off the topic of religion, forgive me, I kind of went down.
No, you're good. No problems.
Kind of went on a monologue, forgive me, but it's something, this is the dumb shit that I think about now at 33 years old. Like, what's after? What's it all for?
Right.
I'll ask you this, because you were saying that there are aspects of your father's legacy that you're kind of like in contradiction to. Like, I want to right his wrongs. I'll go back to my earlier question of like, do you use that as fuel? Fuel could be like, I want to be like my dad, or I don't want to, or I like these aspects of him, but I don't like these aspects of him. Like,
sure.
And also I'll go a step further, because you did bring up a point about, I lost my mom, you lost your dad. Okay. Can you speak about that? What do you mean when you say that? Like, what do you, like, you were talking about the mentorship and like the roles in the gym, but like, elaborate. What do you perceive losing a mother is like? And then I'll understand better what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you think that because you lost a father, you lost a lot of the building blocks as a man?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, when I just feel like, I could go to my mother for comfort all the time. I could go to my mom and she'll tell me everything will be okay. Like, I'm here, everything's going to work out. When I went to my father, it could be like, he could tell me how, if that makes sense.
Like fixing the problem.
Like he can give me the solution that I'm missing, or like, if I have an issue where I'm like, I don't know if I should do this or this or this, my mom's answer most times is like, well, I think you should do what is best for you. I'm like, well, that's
thanks,
not
Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Not always, though, no. But so it's just moments where I'm like, it's just something bad will happen in life. Like, I crashed my car, and it was like, I was like, what the fuck do I do now?
Call insurance.
Well, like, I was just, but right, not necessarily that, but more like, I don't have a car. I have to find a way to get a car. I have to find a way to do this. And that
you're talking about like the actual logistical step 1, step 2, step 3. Sorry.
It's just like, I don't know, that extra guidance and mentorship, or like, if something's just off, like having someone that I look up to more to help guide me, if that makes sense. Like, not that I don't look up to my mom. She's one of the strongest people I've ever met in my life.
I understand what you're saying. Like, a male
mentor.
Like,
I think it's different. I think it's very different. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people, it's not like that. But for me, it's just been like, I feel like I'm missing puzzle pieces there. And
Can I ask this question, though? Do you think that your mother has exemplified characteristics post his death that have shocked you in a pleasant way?
I mean,
because think about, you were saying earlier about like how she's had to overcome all this.
Yeah, for sure.
She lost her husband,
and then has
big
5
financial
kids.
support, 5 kids, and One of the kids is 7 years old. The oldest kid would be what,
17,
17,
yeah.
sorry. So you got a delta of 10 years, 5 kids.
Right.
Holy shit, man.
right.
That is a tall order.
Right.
When all of you guys are like adults, you better pull together for like a nice house for that woman.
Yeah, we've all talked about it.
Yeah, I'm
but,
sure. Well,
yeah,
one more
sure.
voice into that fire.
But yeah, no, I do, like, there's, like, my mom, I couldn't believe that she got through it the way she did, you know what I mean? Like, she's great now, you know what I mean? She's not, like, past or anything, but she's accepted what can happen, you know what I mean? And, like, she's grown a lot, too. We've all grown in different areas, you know what I mean? So, yeah, she's definitely, like, the strongest person I've ever met, because when I think about how hard it was for me, I'm like, well, imagine if I had 5 kids that were going through something and I have to try and help them, you know what I mean? But I didn't have a lot of times, like, where I went to my mom about it. Just wasn't me. Like, it was more just...
Because you didn't feel like you could? Or like, meaning,
No.
like, because she was also going through this?
Yeah,
and you felt like,
I think
I don't want
so.
to bother her. I don't want to burden her.
Exactly. Like, I didn't want to... I knew we were all going through something, and I didn't want to... Like, I knew the whole time, like, look, my mom is going through something, and she's not going to open up to any of us because we're all kids. You know? Like, I don't want to go to my mom right now and be like, I'm sad, yada, yada, yada. Because it's just, like, she's already carrying so much weight on her shoulders. So that's where, like, having that... their counselor, I should say, in high school, was a good outlet, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things I was able to say to someone and not feel like worried about they would say back or whatnot. But yeah, sorry, that kind of, I don't know if that answered what you're
that
saying.
did answer my question. I do have one more question on this topic, and then we'll move on. Forgive me, and thank you for. It's very rare that I don't think we've ever talked about this as much, to be honest with you.
No,
even at the gym.
I
and
don't
stuff
think
like
I've
that.
talked to anyone at the gym even about this as much. I don't think. I don't really talk about it with people. You know, I have a couple friends that that I've gotten into it with because they've been curious and stuff. And my uncle, who's my dad's brother, we've sat down and had conversations about it. But like, I'm comfortable now to the point where I can speak about everything. You know, obviously sometimes I'll get moments where I'm like,
Bro, trust me,
you know?
I think I've cried 3 times on this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad. Not this particular podcast,
right?
But, you know
No,
what I mean.
yeah.
2 questions actually. So I'll ask the first one. My father, just now, at this point in time, has kind of approached me and my brother about possibly dating. You know what I mean? And I remember that when I was like, first of all, I was 19 when my mom passed. So like, I think it's different if I was 9 or if I was 5.
Right.
And like my dad was like starting to date someone when I was like 6 or 7. And then like this new woman comes in and I have to call her mom. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different.
My mom died when I was 19. I'm now 33. And my dad was like, hey, it was so adorable because he like, first of all, we had conversations with him. I think I told you this, but I'll say it on the record. When my mom died, me and my brother were feeling some type of way, but it was actually my father who was taking it harder, I think. I think me and my brother were able to kind of combat it adequately because we were so busy. Like my brother had just graduated college and he started corporate America job and he was starting his own entrepreneurship. And then I was, like I was saying, like I was working full time. I was going to school full time. I was training full time. And one of the benefits of doing that was like I didn't have time to sit and think about like my mom dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't have time. I barely had time to sleep, let alone ponder the world, you know? But my dad had nothing but time. And one of the things he was doing was like compiling photos and drinking heavily.
Yeah.
Like I told you this.
Yeah.
He drank more in like 1 month than I had seen him drink in 10 years. And he was like putting photos, like family photos everywhere. And me and my brother had to sit him down after like a month of this because we wanted to give him some time. And we're like, Dad, like this is not healthy.
Yeah.
Like this is not good. We actually ended up moving because like we realized we had to get out of that environment.
Yeah.
Everything was it goes back to that conversation of like stepping away and like letting go. Everything was a reminder of her.
Yeah.
And yes, that's good, but also not healthy.
Yeah.
And you do have to move on. But my dad took it fucking hard. And we wanted him to date. We told him, I'm like, Dad, I moved out when I was like 22. So I was like, Dad, like date someone, like be with someone. Like we don't want you to be alone. You know what I mean? Because that's one of the other tough variables that we don't talk about is like our parents are still people.
Right.
They have needs and wants for companionship and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like I told my dad this verbatim, the line. I was like, I'll never call her mom. I don't care about her in the same way you do, but I will love and admire her that she makes your life happy.
Right.
She can be there for Christmases. I'll give her a hug. I'll be like, hey, Stacy or Gertrude, whatever the fuck her name is. Like I'll buy her presents and she'll be a part of the family and she can come to dinners and all this other stuff. Like I had my mom. You know what I mean? This is a different thing for you now. Right. And it was really funny because like our whole lives he didn't. And then last year he like sat us down, I think it was like for my birthday dinner. And he's like, hey, this is a very awkward conversation. How would you feel if like you started seeing me post pictures with like a woman? And I was like, you guys aren't naked, right? Like I was kind of making a joking about it. Like I could realize my dad was like super serious about it. And I was like, Dad, like it's been 15 years since mom passed, 14 years since mom passed. Yeah, dude, you can date. It was one of the rare times that I saw my father like a kid. It's like he was asking me for permission. Right. I tell you this story for my question for you, and that is, have you had like, I want to be careful how I ask this. You know what I mean? Have you had conversations with your mom? Because, you know, she's a beautiful woman. She still has a lot of life to live. What do you guys think about that if like she were to ever redate, if she were to do anything of that nature?
I don't know. None of us have talked
to her about it. Does she? I want to be careful how I ask this. My father seemed lonely. Yeah. Like after my mom died, my father wasn't well to the point where me and my brother were like, Dad, you need to get out there. Yeah. Like go date. My dad was like, guys, I don't want to. Yeah. Right. So we can't force him. Right. But it affected him for like 3 or 4 years. I just don't know if this is a similar thing.
Yeah. I don't know. My mom, I wouldn't say she feels lonely because she actually travels a lot for work and is with a lot of people out of her biggest passion was always traveling. So her job right now allows her she's going to freaking, I don't even know where next week, but she's gone for a month. And like before that, she was going to Dubai later this year and stuff. Like she goes everywhere. So I don't think she ever feels lonely all the time. Like it doesn't, at least I don't see it. And we haven't had that conversation with her. I don't know what her thoughts are on it. You know what I mean? I don't know what my siblings' thoughts on it.
So it hasn't even been something you guys brought up?
No, not really.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, well, it is. I think we were all young, and she's like, we still have our younger siblings and stuff like that. Like Nick, my youngest brother, is 14. And I don't know because I've thought about that too. Like, you know, I'm like, it's sad that like, you know, she lost her partner, her person who's supposed to be with her and watch us all grow. And then 50 years from now, look at all of us and be like, wow, look what we've created. And when we have grandkids, it's like, look, this is just coming down, you know what I mean? And she doesn't have that. She doesn't have her partner. She still will have all that, but it just won't be the same, you know? So, I don't know. That is interesting. Yeah, we haven't, I guess.
It was just a shock to me when my dad came to me. He's 66 now.
Right, and he's like,
he was like, how would you feel if I posted pictures with a girl on my Facebook? I was like, as long as you guys aren't naked, like, I don't want to see that, you know? But I was joking, but I was like, damn, like, I guess what I'm just trying to say is 14 years later, you know what I mean? And it's a tough, I've had conversations with Bruna about it. You know, the problem is you want to have these conversations. And I tell her, I was like, listen, if anything happens to me, I want you to be sad for exactly 24 hours and then find a nice, tall, black lawyer and get everything from life that you never got from me. She did not like that. So I was like, are you kidding? So, no, I think there's a sense of humor to have with these things. With your permission, I am going to move on from this part of the conversation. Sure. Yeah. And I do want to deeply say thank you for allowing me to go down this path.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we do, though, is there anything else that you wanted to say or ask or before we put a cap on that part?
No, okay. I feel good with it.
The last thing I wanted to talk to you about was, obviously, we've talked about the martial arts. We talked about overcoming the adversities of your life. Now I want to kind of take a look at the future, but not necessarily in martial arts. So one of the things that we do share in common was we both went to school while training, and I was able to kind of spearhead a life in corporate America. I know that you're about to finish your degree, but like, tell me some of the things that you have planned for after your degree. Like, where do you want to work, or where do you see yourself working? Sure. You were talking about how you wanted to like be a coach and all these other things. Like, do you want to open up your own gym? Would you want to be like an owner operator? I'm curious to see where you think your path lies.
That's a good question. I'm still trying to figure
and that's
that
a tough,
out.
that's a tough question to ask.
And I've been on like, I don't think I'd open a gym anytime soon. I would want to wait till I feel like I know so much. You know what I mean? Like I want to be like, because if I don't make it fighting, or if I don't go as far as whatever, fighting doesn't work out, no matter what, I don't care. If I know, like, striking something super well, I could open a gym and you know, coach people and make that
Well, you don't have to be a master in an industry or a craft to open up a business.
Yeah, but
Because you know how to administer business.
right, that's true. That's
You literally have a degree in
yeah,
it.
that's true. That's
So, like, I
true.
mean, even if you wanted to open a gym tomorrow, you could and just, like, apply the coaches rightfully,
But
right?
it just doesn't. I don't know. I would want to be.
By the way,
involved.
not that I'm telling you to open
No,
a gym.
no,
It
I
was
know
more
what
of
you
like this question of
Yeah.
you don't have to wait until you're a black belt in every martial art to open a
No,
gym.
I agree, but it's just not something I want to do now. Like I look at it
Gotcha.
as like later on in my life where it's like if everything goes well and I have money and it's like, you know what, I want to go into something I'm passionate about and open this gym. This would be something cool. But that's not on my radar now. I actually have a job I accepted full time for October. It's not my plan A.
Let's
not,
take a step back on that one.
Yeah.
You love to have this job, and
Oh,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, you're right.
Thank you for accepting.
I love that I have a job. It's funny because you mentioned that girl
It's
who
not
worked-
my plan A.
It's not.
OnlyFans. Hear me out on this
That's
one.
plan F. But no, it's to actually be an area manager at an Amazon warehouse. So
Oh, that's funny that I said that, though.
Yeah, that's when you said that. I was like, oh, what do you know? What are the odds of that? But it was my first job offer I got, and they didn't want me to start till October. So
Of this year?
yeah, this year, yeah, because they want me to get my degree, and then they
Well, that makes sense because you have to finish the
yeah,
semester.
and then they were like after that. When the opening was either they wanted me to go to Kansas City, and I said no. And
That's
then,
funny that they wouldn't just hire you on the contingency. So when I got hired at Amdocs, I actually wasn't done with my degree. I still had like maybe 2 months left, but the position was open, and the contract that I had signed for employment was like,
You finish your degree.
like if
and-
I don't finish my
Yeah.
degree, you have the right to fire me. But like there was a contract on it,
Wow.
and I remember like that last 2 months was rough because like I was having to work
Yeah.
50-hour weeks, you know what I mean? But I got the degree, got it done, and then I had to send the transcript over to them, and they were like, okay, cool, we're not going to fire you. I was like, all right, thanks.
Yeah, but I don't know. I want to do something in the finance field, whether it's be a planner or maybe do some analyst. I don't like accounting, so I don't want to do anything.
You don't like it when debits equal credits?
No, I don't like that. No, I don't like the gap program or whatever. I don't like accounting. It was one class I was like, I hate this class.
Yeah.
But it's just that, so I wouldn't be an accountant, but I want to go in the financial route just because I think there's more opportunity there. I don't know what area yet.
Boy, does AI have a...
Yeah, that's also like that's why I'm accepted the Amazon job too, because it's like if I can't find something, because I've been applying to a ton of jobs and a lot of them are just, I get to the interview, they're like, so you want to sell insurance? I'm like, no, thank you. Have a good one.
So to that point, do you want to sell insurance? The two points to that. So like number one, I used to think that the reason why your generation right now is having a really tough time finding jobs, and I used to think that it was because of automation and AI.
Yeah.
That's actually not the case. So there's a podcast called the All In Podcast, and there's a lot of guys that are like multi-millionaires,
Yeah.
some of them billionaires that discuss these things. And on their latest episode, they were actually talking about how they were having kind of like that backdoor. You know how like you get done training,
Yeah.
and you're sitting in the locker room having some banter with
Yeah,
the
for
fighters.
sure.
Well, multi-millionaires have that too after
Yeah,
a
I
nice
believe
poker
it.
game or whatever.
I believe it.
And they were all talking about how essentially that the problem with employment right now for young people is actually two-pronged. Number one, they said that these employers are openly discussing how the education process and the parameters for graduation and like the threshold for what is competency has lowered. So like they're pushing people through college at a higher rate now because so many people went to college and they want to have enrollment up and they want to have like enough people graduate to constitute the price that they kind of lowered their standards. And number two, the employers were talking about how actively your generation is a tough generation to deal with in the workplace.
Yeah.
And when they put both of those together, I hate to say this, because I will say this. I know a lot of exceptions to the rule. Yourself, Tony, some of the people that have worked for me. Like there are people that are your age that are very capable,
Yeah.
very malleable, that can do that. I will say that, oh man, I want to be careful how I say this. Sure, you too.
Oh.
It does not seem to be an issue of macroeconomics, but an issue of microeconomics. And that's at the individual level, right? So I will say to you that I actually don't think that there's anything that you guys have to worry about, truly, because you guys will find jobs, and once you find jobs, you will show your value very quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think you'll thrive and adapt and overcome and do all the things. So like whether it's on Amazon, I don't know why you wouldn't necessarily think of them as a plan A. They're a very much growing company.
It is a plan. It isn't like a plan. By plan B, I
What's
mean
plan A then, out of curiosity?
I don't know. So that's
But then when you say this isn't,
Yeah.
when you think why it isn't, what would be something that is?
well, the reason it's not plan A is the skip, huh? No, not that at all. But the reason the issue with the Amazon job is it's like overnights all the time, and it's not like the work life balance that like kind of works for me and my like family and my girlfriend. And
How much
training,
money
stuff
would
like
I
that.
have to pay you to be miserable?
Right. That's a good question, and it's not enough money to where it's like. But
Okay.
they are paying me.
But there is
actually-
a number.
There, yeah, for sure. Always
Everyone's
a
got a
number,
number.
right? Everyone's got a number. But no, they are offering me a pretty decent salary. I like compared to any like I told Chris, I told Wayne, I won't say it on record. I'll say it to you after. I don't care.
Okay.
But
I'll show you yours. Or I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
but I don't know. I don't. Amazon has a lot of growth opportunities, but they're also like a company that's getting really into artificial intelligence, and
Yeah.
also like they're requiring me to do overtime.
Imagine if I was in 1920 and I told you that, oh man, these people are bringing in, not 1920. Let's go past World War II. Let's talk about I don't know, like 1980. Yeah, around 1980, 1990, when computers are starting to literally change the way corporate America functions. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Do you want to know where the word computer comes from? A literal job.
Oh,
It used to be a job in the banking sector, a computer. They would have a
Oh,
human
wow.
doing math. Their
know?
job would be to compute. That's where the word comes from. Look, true story. So like when we say computers, the irony in how we
Wow.
named the thing that outsourced all these jobs, the same thing is that's like me saying like, the robo-taxi is a driver.
right.
Oh, the driver. It's like, wait, no, not for real. So what I'm trying to say is the way we look at the hurdles of today should be in the perspective of history and how, when the Model T started getting in mass production, there was a time where horses and carriage were driving or riding on the same roads as an automobile. And over the course of time, it took to basically say like, okay, this is better. This is the more efficient version. We have less horse shit on the streets. This is cleaner, yada, yada, yada. Over the course of time, same thing happened when we brought in technology into the workspace. We're like, oh, wait, we could do so much more with all these other things. And it's not like white collar work dropped because of
Right.
the advent of the computer. What it allowed is for people to be more productive.
Right.
So the truth of the matter is like everyone's so worried about automation and all these other things. I don't see how anybody can look at this outside of like a purely positive thing.
Yeah.
Because what it'll allow people to do is the same number of employees. When people say like, oh, we won't need that many people. No, dummy. Keep all your people, train them with the new technology. Now you can 20x your
Yeah,
workload.
that's true.
So instead of having, 10 people work at 1x, you can have 10 people work at 10x. Now instead of making 10x, you make 100x in a year in terms of productive capabilities.
Wow.
That's the way everybody should be looking at this. It is not a zero-sum game or like this binary like 1 or 0. What it is exponential or logarithmic growth. It's directly correlated to the productive capabilities of any individual. That's why when I was praising you and I said your ability to be malleable and learn and work, these are going to be the skill sets.
Yeah.
We are slowly coming to the point in time where I do believe that higher education in the majority of fields will be like insufficient. They just won't matter. I can genuinely teach someone how to do my job in a week. It's just whether or not they have like the building blocks to do it.
Right.
Can you learn? Can you multitask? Can you handle your time properly? Can you, handle yourself under pressure? Can you be available? Number one, do you bitch and complain? Like, dude, I'm telling you right now, if you want to make it in this world, especially at an entry level position, shut the fuck up and eat your shit. Because I had to eat shit for 4 years.
Right.
Now I don't have to eat shit. But I had to eat shit so that I don't have to eat shit. I know people that are 40 years old that are still eating shit.
Yeah.
So, once again, I went on a little bit of a rant there.
No.
Sorry.
No,
But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that you should be looking at this job at Amazon as, like, anything other than an opportunity. And you don't know what it might hold. You have no idea what doors might open. A year from now, you could be like, I'm so glad I got this job because I did this and I worked up to this position. And then we developed this new technology and then I spearheaded this initiative and now I'm making X amount of dollars. And it would have never happened had I never accepted that role when I was still in school.
Yeah.
Or you hate your fucking life and you're like, fuck this. But then you need that bad job to
so
make you
see
realize what you want.
Yeah.
It's only a win.
Yeah. So I agree with you saying it. When I said Amazon isn't plan A, it's just if you asked me like 4 years ago when you get your degree, what are you gonna do? No, never. But if then it was like Amazon, I was like, I don't know about that, you know. And then, like, the company is a great company to work for, and there's great benefits in Amazon and a lot of growth. But like the job entails of like just like your mandatory overtime of like an extra 12-hour shift every week, and it's not paid and stuff like that. And
Sounds like slave labor.
that's
Pretty sure that's not legal.
well,
Or salary?
yeah, it's salary, so that's why.
Just
I already tried. They said no. So I already offered them something else. And they
Damn.
said no. Yeah, they shut it
Amazon,
down.
that
already.
sounds-
Yeah, that's why I was like,
eat a little
all right.
shit for a little year. Well, we got to talk about salary. Because if you're talking
Yeah.
about, like, we got to talk numbers. Like,
Right.
there's a number where I'm like, all right, that's not so bad.
Yeah, but so I don't know. I also just like when I was getting my degree and as I got closer, I was like, I don't know if that's where I want to go. But like I had an interview last week actually for a part-time position at AmDoc now.
AmDocs?
Yep, swear to God.
Do not go.
Yeah, I know.
Do
That's
not
what Chris
go.
said. Well, it was to really do more administration
No.
stuff. Not at
No.
all. Really, you
I'm
think
telling you, the worst company I've ever worked for.
that's funny.
I'm telling you, I would recommend
That's
no
so
one
funny.
work there
That's
ever.
what Chris said. He's like,
It's so bad.
He's like, I'm like, hey, have you heard of this company? What did I just say it was?
AmDocs.
AmDocs. Sorry, I blanked already. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Arion worked there. He goes, he
4
hated
years.
it. And he's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. He's like, talk to him. He'll tell you how awful.
I
it
went
is.
from
So-
managing a portfolio of $77 million to, by the time I left, $492 million.
Oh, wow.
And my salary had only increased over the course of 4 years, $8,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
To put it into perspective, in the last 4 years, I've between 50% to 120% like
Wow,
increase in my
that's
salary.
amazing. Good for
Yeah.
you.
Well, throughout many
Right.
many options. It's not from one source, like
Right, you
multiple
have multiple
sources.
sources.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but still,
But
that's-
what I'm trying to say though is, in 4 years, I only made $8,000 difference, and if you factor into the equation inflation, I didn't make any difference.
Yeah, that's
I'm making
true.
the same amount of money in 4 years. I stayed stagnant, and what I'm trying to tell you is, there's no such thing as a bad job. There's only bad salaries. However,
I agree.
to go back to the original conversation and put this all in a bow, everybody has a different path. So my question to you is, when this is not plan A, what life do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want Bugattis and strippers and all these other things? Do you want a nice middle class, 2 kids and a dog, white picket fence? Like, when you think about where you want to be at 30,
Yeah.
35, 40, like, what do you want?
Yeah, I'm really ambitious, so I don't
Bugatti.
No, not a Bugatti. More like
OnlyFans.
Ferraris.
Cocaine.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. No, but I want to be financially free. I want to get involved in real estate. I'd like to be my own boss. Don't know. I'm not sure. I'm in a real big puzzle. I've been all over this actually for a while now. I've been talking to.
Well, you sound like you have some ambition.
Yeah,
So it doesn't sound like you just want like that.
No, I don't want to. Like, I don't have to be the most rich guy in the room or anything, but I want to be like
Well off.
well off and comfortable. Like, we grew up and we weren't comfortable. You know what I mean? My family was on food stamps a bit, and even like just like paycheck to paycheck a lot of times. You know what I mean? When my father passed, and I heard how much like money, like, when I was like, wow, like. And now as I've gotten older, I understand money a little bit more. I'm like, wow, and
You're impressed at how you were able to make it
right,
last.
and especially with the amount of kids we have 5 of us, so I'm like, wow.
And I know how much you eat.
Yeah, exactly. I'm out of camp, dude. I'm eating good. That's why I'm at 45. But yeah. So I don't know. I have a lot of ambition. Like, by the time I'm 40, I want to be able to be like, wow, look at like what I've done. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just want to be well off. I want to be comfortable, and I want to.
And like I said, dude, when I was your age, you're 21, 22?
22, yeah.
So when I was 22, that was my second year at AmDocs. That was when I was starting to realize, like, I don't think this is what I want. Like, I had an idea of what I wanted. And then I thought to myself, I started doubting myself. Like, maybe I don't want this. Maybe I don't want that. And it wasn't until I left that I realized, like, no, I'm doubling down on this. It was not me. It was them. And I proved that right.
Yeah.
And if there's any one piece of advice I leave you with, it's don't work for them.
I love it. I'm going to withdraw my application right now.
Don't just withdraw it. Just be like, you have my permission to be like, I talked with a former employee of yours, Arion Zagdi, and he said, quote unquote, fuck you. So
I'm not going to burn
my
that
permission.
bridge, but
Burn that bridge. I'm burning that bridge.
I guess. I know.
You're not going to want to work for them.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the only reason it was going to be
They won't
part-time.
offer you the money to be miserable.
Right. Well, they were only going to have me work twice a week, and it was going to be literally like handling.
Oh, so you're
ends
thinking like what,
part-time.
overemployment?
Well, it was more just going to be to put on my resume for a few months that I worked at a more
Oh,
established
until the
company.
October
Yes,
one?
until October. If I find a better job, it's like, hey, I have this experience at this company.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Hopefully, they either offer it to me
And
or
don't
but
watch
no.
this podcast.
Don't look me up. Don't watch.
If you
this.
don't get it, then you could be like, hey, by the way,
I
a
will.
former employee of yours.
I'll just give them 1 star on Google. No comments, just 1 star on Google. But
listen, I hold you to a like an elite group of younger people that I actually like admire and respect. I think you got a good head on your shoulders. It is irrespective of your martial arts career. It really doesn't fucking matter. I enjoyed you, and I enjoyed training with you and watching you grow and everything. But that's not why I admire you or respect you. I admire and respect you for everything that you've overcome, everything that you're doing, and how you walk this earth.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Before we put a cap on this, man, is there anything else you want to say? Any Wu-Tang?
No. Shout out to everyone at the gym.
This is a good time to talk about the sponsors.
The sponsors.
Yeah, OnlyFans, Pornhub.
This guy.
Eric.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.